Hello and welcome to episode 193 of the Round Nintendo Podcast. I'm Jason.
And I'm Angel.
And before getting any further, Happy New Year. It's 2019. How's your 2019 going? All, 5 days of it? 6 days of it?
Nothing to complain about yet.
That's a positive outlook? I don't really know.
So, yeah, it's been going well.
That's good.
I can't complain.
Literally cannot.
I cannot, yeah.
Good. Mine has been going equally well with no complaints. But the thing about this year is hopefully we won't much to complain about on the podcast because there's a lot of games coming out this year. I mean, this is the year of Animal Crossing and Luigi's Mansion 3.
I have some things to complain about.
And another Pokemon game. What?
I have some things to complain about on the podcast.
Well, I guess we might as well just cancel it now because I said this is the year we won't. So, all right, thanks. Of course we do. I do too.
The only reason I'm even bringing up Smash Brothers is because of that.
Well, listen, I want to talk about Smash Bros. Too. That's another thing we're talking about in this episode of Smash Brothers because I want to talk about some stuff too. So we're going to talk about that. You'd think we were done with Smash. We're not. We're also going to talk about another multiplayer game that got some pretty heavy usage over the holidays for us, which is Jackbox Party Pack 5. But the big topic is New Year's, right? So we have... we don't really know what Nintendo's doing. There's a whole year in front of us, so we're going to kind of use this opportunity to make some predictions about what we think might happen this year in gaming. And we're going to share our own personal gaming resolutions as well. That's a first for us. We always just do the big picture, not what we're going to do differently. So we have that, and because of that, we're calling this episode New Year, New Me. And that's me, M-I-I, because we're clever like that. And we've also got our $20 eShop gift card giveaway winner to announce. So... for all that, there's timestamps, as always, available on this episode's blog post at random.com under the YouTube video if you're listening to us over in that world. But let's just go straight to the predictions. Like, new year, new guessing, new speculation.
Sure.
Really, I guess the better way to describe this would be theories more than predictions. Because, on one hand, we know a fair amount about what's coming this year. Nintendo's tipped their hand a bit more than usual, at least in terms of what they're working on for Switch. Usually we don't know as many games as we do. But on the other hand... there's still so much we don't. So it's kind of just us, connecting the dots or sharing what we want to have happen, which leads me to ask you, what do you want in 2019 from Nintendo? What's your wish or prediction or theory or nightmare, if you want to stick with the complaining theme?
Well, ideally I wouldn't have anything to complain, but way out there, give me a single-player Bowser adventure game somehow. But that's about it.
Maybe if Bowser's Inside Story does well
again.
Next week again for the second time.
How did it even do the first time?
It well enough to get a repeat release with a new scenario tacked on. They always do decently. I don't think they're lying up the chart, but they're not tanking either. They're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, honestly, I want to know what Retro's up to, but I also don't want to know unless it's going to come out this year or within 5 months of them announcing it.
I feel that's the thing about Nintendo. It could go either way, really. Because Nintendo's a strategy of they announce games that are going to come out really soon and then bombard you with info for 3 or 4 months. Smash, Odyssey, Breath of the Wild. Or they do the logo tease where it's Metroid Prime 4, see you in 5 years. Or Bayonetta 3, see you in 2 years. So it could go either way. I'm hopeful... yeah, that whatever Retro's doing, they've been quiet for way too long. So hopefully this would be the year that they announce it and release it.
I don't know. Wasn't there?
What would you want it to be? Would you want a new IP? Would you want them to do a classic franchise?
I guess a new IP.
Completely from scratch?
Yeah.
Interesting. Because a lot of people are speculating they're probably going to reboot an old one like Metroid, which seems a little too on the nose. I remember people were what if they do Mach Rider? It's no. And then there's that rumor about Star Fox Grand Prix, which I'm still in favor of being a real thing, but who knows if that's even real.
But the thing is also, I don't know, I feel if they do something, make it a single-player adventure, kind of like Metroid Prime. Not it doesn't have to be a first-person shooter or anything, but something with a beginning, middle, and an end. Nothing like a racing game that is kind of open-ended or like Smash Brothers. Because
you want something with story, narrative, structure.
I want some narrative structure.
That sounds like Donkey Kong Country Returns 3 to me.
I'd be okay with that.
Do you guys know how many people would not be okay with that?
Just make the Kremlings the enemy. Yeah, you got to flex your creative juices with the tikis and the animals. Yeah. I guess the Antarctic animals.
I was how they don't even get a name. The animals.
Yeah, just the cold animals. But I don't know. I want to see a full Kremling army rendered in 3D.
I think if they were to do that, this would be the year. Because they got King K. Rool and Smash. They're having that kind of reminder of that.
Resurgence.
Resurgence of that crew. So it would be possible. But I bet you a lot of people, if they did Donkey Kong, would be pretty annoyed. Because like, here's the thing that's so stupid. Those games are very good. Yeah, but so many people are like, but that's not what I want Retro to make. It's like, yeah, but if someone else made it, it wouldn't be that good. So it's kind of like this weird... Like, you do want to be if it's going to be Donkey Kong, you want Retro to do it, or someone of comparable talent. If it's not going to be Donkey Kong, I hope Retro just goes all in and does something crazy.
If we do get a new Donkey Kong, I don't want Next Level Games to make it. I feel like they make good games, but
I don't think
the art style they kind of tend to go with is probably not the one I would want to see on Donkey Kong. But
I never considered Next Level doing that. I mean, because are they the ones doing Luigi's Mansion?
Yeah, they're
3?
doing Luigi's Mansion, and I feel like they've kind of ruined the franchise, at least with Dark Moon so far.
I mean, ruined strong, but it lost some of its mystique.
It lost all of its mystique.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it traded in mystique for variety, question mark?
yeah, no, I get what you mean. It did.
It's like, oh, you found a cog. Now, I mean, I don't know, I beat it. I played the whole thing.
They took away...
So obviously, it was entertaining enough for me to go all the way through. And I mean, I thought the final boss was like miles ahead of the final boss in the first Luigi's Mansion, just creative-wise.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I don't know.
I think
it creepy.
I think part of the problem is because they made it like bite-size Dark Moon, because they need to make it like, oh, it's for playing on the go, all that, and multiple mansions that you go through them really quick. It's like you can't really make something super atmospheric if you're rushing through like 7 of them instead of 1, which is what gives me hope about Luigi's Mansion 3 is it's all seems to be set in one giant hotel, so they can do like they seem to like variety more question mark as you put it, so they can do more variety but keep the creep factor because it's all one setting. So
it would have been nice if instead of like attaching numbers to the end, I guess they didn't even.
They didn't. This is 3 is the only
fine.
one.
Instead of keeping, because I mean the first one's Luigi's Mansion. Yeah, makes sense. It's Luigi's Mansion. Second one,
I know where you're
none of them were Luigi's, and there were multiple ones. So either call it Luigi's Mansions or
yes, I vote that
or something. And then the last one just call it Luigi's Hotel or Hotel
Luigi. And then that's a nice little nod to the game no one wants to remember.
The internet would have eaten that up.
They totally would have. I mean, it's not too late. Luigi's Mansion 3 is a placeholder name.
The people would have been like, I hope there's lots of spaghetti in that hotel.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna call it Hotel Luigi, but that's a solid prediction. Maybe it will be. I mean, we should know soon enough. Like, there's probably gonna be a direct this month, and I'm sure they're gonna.
Or Luigi's in Trouble,
but with 2 N's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I like these. All right, what else you got for 2019? I think Hotel Luigi is probably the best prediction we're gonna have this whole show. So anyone listening, just turn it off now. We have
Yoshi's game is officially called Yoshi's Crafted World, right?
Correct. And rumor is it'll be out April 27th, according to a leaked listing from one of the Amazons.
Well, let's see. Well, Metroid Prime 2 had Echoes and 3 had Corruption. 4 has yet to have a subtitle, but...
we don't even know anything about 4. Like,
I know, that's yeah. Well, I mean...
We've seen a logo.
They're trying to continue the story, which was, like, nicely wrapped up.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if they're making a 4...
But then you got Stylix coming in his little ship and being like, I'm going to cause mayhem.
Yeah, so I'm just going to guess they're going to go after one of the stereotypical sequel names like Revengeance or
I think
Insurgents or...
Returns.
Yeah.
Wait. They could do
Metroid Prime 4 Return.
No, Metroid Prime... drop the number. I think that trilogy's done. I think, honestly, I think they could drop the number and then you have Metroid Prime... name, and that implies Returns, which is a nice Samus Returns nod, but that it also implies it's a new story arc. That implies it's a different developer. Like, it lets them kind of separate, the same way that Federation Force didn't have a number, the same way that Hunters didn't have a number. They're set in the same world, but it's its own beast.
The other thing that kind of bothers me is that, like, I mean, I like the Prime, I mean, ignoring Prime Hunters, because, I mean, that was a good game, but that was clearly a spin-off. Like, the first 3 Prime games, like, all revolved around Phazon, and you literally fight Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
But there's like no more Metroid Prime. So
well, it's because that's like the universe now. It's the Metroid Prime universe.
It's done. But they're all in the same continuity.
But Prime implies it's a first-person 3D game. Non-Prime implies it's not.
Then I know it's for stupid like marketing,
or they just call it Metroid.
For marketing reasons. It's like, all right, we need the name because the name has value. Instead of just coming up with a brand new stuff. I mean, I would have just loved like Metroid something else.
Remember they tried that with Other M, and remember how that went?
Oh, I thought you were going to say with Dread, but...
No. Well, Dread was never even real.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
It was an idea that...
It was an idea that got onto a game list at an E3 press kit from Nintendo. And everyone's like, wait, what? And Nintendo's like, wait, what? And just quietly removed it and never spoke of it again.
No, they put it.
They did eventually put it into
Metroid Prime 3.
Yeah, that's
they're
true.
they're like Project Dread, close to completion.
But that was them riffing on the yeah. But yeah, I remember the rumors of Dread for so long. Well, I think another safe prediction we can make. We're really going wild with these super like weird predictions. I don't think Metroid Dread will be coming. Maybe it's Metroid Prime 4 Dread.
Well, we did get
Metroid Dread for all. No, that doesn't work.
Are there any more? Maybe we'll get another remake like Metroid Prime 2. I mean, like Metroid 2, Samus Returns on the 3DS.
But for Switch this time?
No, I think it'll still be on the 3DS.
Really? I don't think they're greenlighting anything new for 3DS. We have Epic Yarn and we have Bowser.
We'll probably get like Metroid Prime Fusion. I mean, Metroid Fusion.
Metroid Fusion Prime 4.
Yeah, Metroid Fusion Deluxe or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that'd be on Switch. If they put Deluxe, it's on Switch, basically. If you haven't noticed, all the 3DS games
did Metroid 2 Samus Returns have a subtitle or anything? Or was it just Metroid 2 Samus Returns?
Well, the subtitle is Samus Returns. And
no, like attached to that, because that was the name of the original game.
Oh.
For the 3DS.
They took the 2 off.
It was just Metroid Samus Returns?
No, it was originally Metroid Return of Samus, and it became Metroid Samus Returns, I think, right?
I don't know. I didn't get it.
I think so. I mean, I have it, but I don't remember. Yeah, why didn't you get it? It even came with the Deluxe Edition. I had, like, a soundtrack.
That's still readily available, but...
yeah, Metroid Samus Returns.
I think it was just because of the Switch. At that point, I was kind of like, I don't really want to go back to the 3DS.
Well, if you want to make the safest 2019 prediction, 3DS will be dead by the end of the year. There you go. Mic drop.
I say it won't.
When I say dead, I mean they're not going to be releasing new content for it. They'll still be selling off Legacy.
It's going to have at least one more game.
You think?
By Nintendo.
Well, yeah, before the end of the year. All we know are 2 games. One coming out next week, Mario and Luigi. One coming out in like March, which is Epic Yarn. Right, so they can have one more, do it during summer, do it in early fall, and it could still be dead by the end of the year. I'm sticking my guns on that one. I've been calling that for like 2 years.
You'll get it right eventually.
Well, I kept saying 18 months after the Switch. 18 to 24 months after the Switch came out, mirroring the GBA, which is in the DS, which is exactly what's happening. So there. But okay, what else you got? Anything else? I mean, we could come back. We can alternate if you have more as we go. I could do one mine.
Pretty much all I got.
Well, I've got one that's not quite as wild, but I do think one key thing that's going to happen this year is that, like, if you thought Switch was done with all the ports, surprise, there's going to be a ton more ports. Like, I think, honestly, we can end up with more Switch or more games ported to Switch in 2019 than we saw in previous years. And that includes last year. The first half of last year was all ports. It was filler content. We got Bayonetta 1 and 2, DK Tropical Freeze, Hyrule Warriors, Captain Toad. Lego City, I think, was older than that. But yeah, it was, all these filler games in like a 5-month span. And what's funny is, like, on the surface level, it doesn't feel like Nintendo's going to need the ports this year. Because, last year they used all those Wii U ports to kind of stack the first half when there was nothing new. I mean, we all know because we just lived through it. The heavy hitters of 2018 were Pokemon, Smash, surprisingly Mario Party, and that was all Q4. We got nothing real. I mean, we got Mario Tennis and Kirby, but that was it until Q4. So they needed the dead months to be all these ports, right? But then this year, at least theoretically, you wouldn't necessarily need that because the first party lineup is already pretty big. I mean, we've been talking about some of the games already, but like there's Yoshi's Crafted World, there's Daemon X Machina, there's Animal Crossing, there's Luigi's Mansion, Hotel Luigi, there's Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, there's the next core Pokemon game, there's Fire Emblem 3 Houses, there's maybe Bayonetta 3, there's maybe Metroid Prime 4, there's stuff we don't know about yet. And I'm guessing that if they space these right, that's 8 out of 12 months probably that Nintendo has games covered for. They could put a new game out roughly every 6 to 8 weeks all year long off just that. So you would think ports wouldn't be needed, but here's the thing, and here's why I think they're going to keep doing it. They're turning down free money if they don't. Like, if you look at a game like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, sold more on Switch than Wii U. Or take Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which, we know it's one of Switch's best-selling games ever, right? But a crazy new stat came out of the UK that says in 2018, Mario Kart 8 sales were actually 32% higher than in the release year of 2017. In an industry where games traditionally drop off in sales over time, it's crazy that Mario Kart's literally going up year over year. And should Nintendo be able to replicate that with other ports, maybe not in raw numbers, but just, conceptually with having more ports, they're of course going to take that opportunity. There's no way they aren't. I mean, they're already trying. Next week, we're getting New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. It comes out on Friday. And January is normally a month where Nintendo has, nothing. They completely ignore the month. Yet, here they are taking a series that normally has huge sales legs, and they're like, hey, maybe we can make Lightning Strike twice. Maybe we can get another Mario Kart 8 or another Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and they're just pumping it out there. So I bet you, even though we have a stacked 2019, we're going to see a lot of games from systems we previously owned bubbling back up in between those games. And I don't honestly think New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, which is a mouthful of a name, I don't think that's going to sell anywhere near Mario Kart 8 Deluxe numbers. I mean, we both double dipped on Mario Kart 8. I don't think either of us are getting U, right? Are you getting U?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
No.
But why? Okay, why do you like? I suspect a lot of U owners are not getting it again. What do you think? So why aren't you getting it? Because I have a theory as to why.
There's no new content if you already purchased all the.
But see, you could argue that's true of Mario Kart 8 as well.
There was new battle modes,
and there's a new character.
Yeah, but that character doesn't add anything. The battle mode actually adds new locations.
Yeah. I think it's bigger than
new ways to play. But this one, like, the Nabbit was already there.
Yeah.
Toadette doesn't really change anything
Super
much.
Super Crown.
That changes even less.
I know. You know what I think it is? I think it's bigger than just the lack of new content.
That's literally
I think it's also the lack of replayability. Like, think about it. If you go through a platformer, you're essentially going through the same experience every time. I mean, perhaps you can vary it with how many people are joining you for co-op or which character you're playing as.
Exactly, the lack of new content.
Right. No, but I'm saying, like, even if you take out battle mode, Mario Kart 8 could still be worth double dipping on because it's well, hold on. For a lot of people, not necessarily for you. But what I was going to say is, for something like Mario Kart 8, it's more dynamic. Like, every race is different. You don't have the same experience twice, really, ever. And then if you think about the fact, well, if all my friends that play online are now on Switch and you want to continue to play Mario Kart, you need to move to Switch. Battle mode was just icing on the cake. Like, I didn't buy it so much for battle mode as much as, like, well, no one's going to play the Wii U version. I need to be over here on Switch. Like, it sounds like in your case you did get it because of the battle mode, not in spite of the battle mode.
Of course not.
So then you did get it because everyone moved over.
Not because everyone moved over, just because I wasn't done with the game.
Fair enough. But with Mario U, you were definitely done because once you play it once, you play it once.
Well, yeah, 100% of it. So
exactly. So I think
no new content, so no new game.
Yeah, I think we're basically saying the same thing two different ways. But yeah.
Yeah, it's literally the same thing. I mean,
we're saying the same thing two different ways.
Yeah, like if even Mario Kart, like, I mean, it can get. I mean, I haven't really touched it all that much. Like it does get old after a while, unless like that's your jam.
It just has more longevity than a platformer, where once you beat a level, you beat a level.
You need more levels.
Which they're not doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like, on some level, it's not
everyone got Luigi. I mean, Super Luigi U, but...
Yeah. I mean, they did bundle it with the game.
I know, that's so it's nice that that's how they're artificially creating new levels of it.
Yeah.
And we're actually losing levels because...
Yes, the challenge.
Because we don't have the touchscreen challenges anymore, and those are actually really fun.
The thing I don't understand is they didn't sub in anything to replace it. They're just like, well, that doesn't work. And they could have totally done it with the Joy-Con. Just use a pointer. Like, right? Am I crazy? Like, I mean, you're just tapping where you want the blocks to go. Just use a pointer to indicate where you want the blocks to go.
Crappy, but I mean, at least
will it be that bad? Because like the Little Inferno managed to map fake motion controls.
Yeah, but the game was always like a point and click game. There's like no urgency. Like, you don't have to.
That's true.
You have to do everything quickly.
Issue,
like for Mario, you have to do things like almost like precisely. Like, that's really quickly, like on the dot, and doing with a pointer, you're gonna overshoot a lot.
That's true. I take back the fact that they can still do it. But yeah, it is. I mean, like, on Nintendo's part, I feel like it's not totally for lack of trying here. They basically looked at Donkey Kong, the Switch version of Tropical Freeze, and were like, well, what can we do to Mario U to bring it up to parity with that in terms of features? So, they have easier modes, like kind of Funky Kong mode, but it's Nabbit and Toadette.
Didn't have any new levels.
Right, but it still sold super well.
Oh yeah,
which is why they're doing this. Yeah, because
I mean, it makes sense. The Switch didn't. So
yeah, and I mean, like, you mean the Wii U?
The Wii U didn't. Yeah,
and the thing is, like, they are doing like little nips and tucks to quality of life, like stuff like you can switch characters on the fly for the first time, or like Super Luigi U has an easy mode now, so it's not just this grueling thing. Like if you use Nabbit or Toadette, you get double the time, so it's basically like another 200 normal Mario levels, or however many it is, 130. I don't remember. And there's like little UI tweaks, and there's a lot of stuff they're doing to try and make it a better version of an already solid game. But it does ultimately come down to, we have played this before, and there's not enough new stuff. And to be fair, like, it does perfectly fit the Switch's multiplayer focus. Like, it has drop in, drop out co-op, which is like, the bat signal of attracting people to a game on Switch. Like, just, throw that on there and people are like, oh, and flock to it. So, yeah, I don't know. And I mean, like, Nintendo they're pushing it really hard, too. I mean, for the past, I don't know, like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, every time I open Instagram, in my feed is an ad for New Super Mario Bros. U. Like, Nintendo keeps promoting it. And then over in Japan, they're running this whole ad campaign as the type of thing you expect from, like, a really big, high-profile release. But it's for a port, a barely enhanced port. And, like, the commercials are actually pretty cool. Basically, it's always people doing, like, real-life stuff, like, just going about their day in real life, but they're mimicking Mario moves as they go. Like, it's hard to describe, but it looks cool. We'll link to it in the blog post if you want to see it, anyone out there. But it's really well done ads. It feels like, oh, it's a major new Mario game, and then at the end it's like, Mario U, and you're like, oh, that's that game from, like, 7 years ago. Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah, came out in 2012, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. But, yeah, so I guess the point is I don't think it's going to do cart numbers, but even if it does, let's say, 4 or 5 million, primarily as a release that services, like, new Switch owners who didn't have a Wii U, or people who have gift cards from the holidays, and now they want to spend it on something, like, that's still a hefty market. So, in that way, it's still significant for Nintendo. It's just not so much for you, me, and probably most people listening. But I think, like, this is an example of how Nintendo's going to do ports in 2019. Because it's kind of like the ultimate example, really. Because there's still a lot of Wii U content that can fit well on Switch. You got Mario 3D World that also has the local multiplayer emphasis. Super Mario Maker can, use the Switch's touchscreen. Or if you're playing on TV, that one you can probably get by with a Joy-Con doing the controls because it's not really as urgent to set up a level.
Yeah.
Even games like, Wonderful 101 or like Tokyo Mirage Sessions, they will be niche even on Switch. But when you have a much larger audience, that niche is just that much bigger and the sales can be that much better. Kind of like how Bayonetta's port worked last year. Wasn't lying up the charts, but it was doing well because it had a broader niche to work with.
Did it do well?
It didn't do horribly. It sold pretty well, like compared to the Wii U versions at least. But I don't know. Am I missing any Wii U games that make sense? Like, I guess they could do Pikmin 3. But at that point, I kind of want them to just do 4 and ditch 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because 3's short. I mean, even if they throw in the DLC, it doesn't feel like they could.
I don't know. Having the map on the...
was pretty clutch.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially in multiplayer. Like, whenever we would do the missions, the mission mode was really, really well done. That's, like, the only good thing about Pikmin 3.
So do you think any sort of Pikmin 4 on Switch? They claim Pikmin 4 is coming out. Miyamoto said a few years ago Pikmin 4 is almost done. Then Hey Pikmin bubbled up on 3DS, and I don't think that was Pikmin 4. Or at least not the one Miyamoto was referring to. But there is a Pikmin floating around somewhere. Do you think anything they do on Switch is going to be almost a regression compared to 3? Not so much in gameplay, but in terms of how it's structured, because you don't have the map anymore? Like, is there any way to, like, not have it be a total step backwards, like with an on-screen map?
I mean, I don't know.
It's going to be smaller.
It's going to be a step backwards. I mean, Pikmin with pointer controls is really, really, really good. But pointer controls are never going to be as good as with the infrared. So,
right.
I mean, it's doable with GameCube controller. I mean, with normal controllers, because I work
on GameCube.
I mean, I love Pikmin 2. I mean, I didn't play the remake one with the pointer controllers, but
like, I forgot they did those, the new Play Control series.
But all of a sudden, I did 100% all those missions, and they were really hard, and we had to do it with the fixed distance with your aimer. But
right,
so it's possible, but then again, damn, it's gonna kind of suck to have to go back to that because pointer controls are way better.
Yeah,
and then the map was just really good,
and now it's gonna be really squished, if anything.
Yeah, if it's even there. Like, it'll probably be on its own little menu that you have to keep pressing pause.
I did like, and this goes back to Pikmin 1.
Especially because you were micromanaging multiple captains. Like, it was really nice on the touchscreen to just tap and drag. Like, all right, you go here, and I'll control my main dude on the TV. Keep track of you guys on the touchscreen. Oh, you're almost done. All right, let me give you another command, and there you go.
Pikmin 3 is almost like one of the few examples of the gamepad actually
like
enhancing a game in a not a not gimmicky asymmetric gameplay sort of way.
Like the game mechanics and everything about the gameplay in Pikmin 3 was really, really good and everything I wanted in the Pikmin sequel. Mm-hmm. It's just the level design around it was horrible. And by horrible I just mean way too easy.
It's also very short.
Yeah, easy and not much to do.
They cranked that you could tell they cranked that thing out because they needed some big name games on Switch. I mean, Wii U very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like then they started doing the DLC, and then like was it the Christmas pack or something that was actually about what you would want out of Pikmin?
That's right. Eventually, like the DLC started out like okay, but then soon it got like really good, and it was like whoa, like this is what Pikmin 3 should have been from the beginning. But nope.
It definitely feels like one of those games. Like it was almost like the first pass at how they release Splatoon, or how they now release a bunch of their games like ARMS, where it's like, oh, we'll do bare minimum in the base game, and then we'll start enhancing it with DLC. But because they're still like figuring it out, they made the DLC. It was paid, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't really get the timing right. But like now they would probably do, if they did something like Pikmin 3 as a release now, they'd probably do free support for like 6 months or a year or something. And so they trickle out content, and that lets them achieve the same goal of getting the game out quick, but building up the content without charging people. Yeah. So Pikmin's maybe not the best example. Because I was originally thinking like you can't do Game & Wario, you can't do Nintendo Land, those will import. But I didn't really think about Pikmin not being portable. Portable, but it is. But there's it's a lot of concessions.
But that's not like their AAA category.
Oh, you mean like from the Wii?
Yeah,
there's a bunch of Wii. I mean, Metroid Prime Trilogy. Like so many people were hyped for that when it was rumored for Game Awards, and nothing came. I mean, it's the first time you'd be able to play Prime 3 with normal, traditional, not motion controls. And yes, I did need to say that 3 different ways. Correct. But like it just seems like there is a lot of room for Nintendo to do ports that appeal to fans and to casuals who maybe haven't played these games before. Like the whole Wii life. It seems like a lot of Wii games are actually playing on 3DS, like Epic Yarn, or Donkey Kong Country Returns or whatever. But yeah, I think there's opportunities to do like upscale, remaster, just make it 1080p and call it a day, like whatever. And I think 2019, like I'm hoping where it differs from 2018 is that it will balance better what core Nintendo fans want and have already played with stuff that can appeal to casuals, with entirely new content that can appeal to both. So like if Nintendo can offer those ports in the right order and maybe like sequence them out better with new content in between, since there's so much new stuff as we were saying before, like I think they can maintain like the release strategy of 2018, but in a way that can excite the core fans like the release strategy of 2017 did. Because 2018 had a fair number of games. It's just there wasn't the hype in the same way that 2017 was, because there's so many ports. So they can just like stagger them or every other them in between new releases or whatever. That's like the sweet spot. And I feel like they have their ducks in a row to make that happen this year. So that's potentially very exciting. And that's just the first party side. Because one particularly exciting prospect of 2019 to me is that third parties, I think, are going to be stepping up even more in their support of Switch. Like a lot of their releases are probably going to be ports as well. Like when I said a ton of ports, when I was saying like we're going to see a ton this year, I meant like not just from Nintendo. Because already in the same way that Mario U is sort of setting the tone with one 2019 prediction in mind, I feel like the Switch remaster of Tales of Vesperia, which comes out the same day as Mario U, is setting the tone in like the other way for third parties. Which actually, before we get to that, you're a Tales fan. Are you buying that? It's out next week.
On PS4.
Ah, but you are buying it.
Yeah.
Did you ever play the original?
No, because it was an Xbox 360 exclusive.
Right. So why PS4?
Because that's just where I have my Tales games, I guess.
Except on the other systems where you also
I mean, I have them on my PlayStation, basically.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, unless they're exclusive to the Nintendo console, that's why I have them.
Right. So what...
Like Tales of Abyss on 3DS or...
Symphonia on GameCube, if you want to go way back.
Yeah.
Symphonia, they could do a remaster remake.
They did do a remaster of Symphonia on the PS3.
And now they can port it to Switch, and I bet you do pretty well. I bet you if Vesperia does well, they'll do that, honestly. Because like, it's the right fan base. Like, I could see Sega doing Skies of Arcadia for the same reason.
No,
like, these are games that did really well for Nintendo fans in the past.
They did say that they were already working on the Tales game for the Switch, so that would be the one I would get for the Switch, obviously, because it's on the Switch. But
it was not this, right?
No, I think they said they were working on an exclusive Tales game.
So does Vesperia actually have anything that differentiates it, like any unique feature, or is it just kind of like a good Tales game?
It's just a good Tales game.
Which is probably why it's coming out.
It apparently just rivals Symphonia.
Really?
People think it's as good, if not better.
Interesting.
But, it's like tomato at that point.
Right.
Personal preference.
Right.
But
yeah, that's out next week. And like, yeah, kind of the reason I brought it up is like I was saying, like kind of like how Mario used like, oh, we could see first party ports all year. Here's like the first step of all the third party ports, probably. Like, I mean, I should be clear. I realize this third party prediction.
I want Zombie U again.
Yeah, except it doesn't work without the.
It doesn't work without it, but
it's not as good.
I know, yeah, it's not as good for sure. I mean, like
It would just be called Zombie.
Inventory management won't. I mean, it's just going to be what it is on the PS4 and Xbox One.
Right.
I mean,
but portable.
Yeah, but portable.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it is on the PS4. I guess I could just get it, or I should just
play the Wii U one, dude. Like, it's so much better because it has the asymmetric. Like, Zombie U is like one of the go-to examples I give.
I thought I gave it to a friend as a gift.
If you didn't, you could borrow mine.
But it's on my shelf. I could.
Oh, well, there you go. But yeah, if they bring it to Switch, first of all, they have to rename it to Zombie with no U, or Zombwitch, or something. But it's always one of the go-to examples when someone's like, "What's cool about the Wii?" I'll be like, "Well, it does things like Nintendo Land, and then it does things like Zombie U." And I never even think of Pikmin, but I should probably start name dropping that one too. And the once in a blue moon time, these people ask me these questions, but yeah, it's like what I was starting to say is I realize like third-party ports is probably the safest prediction you can make. Like, I don't even know if I would call it a prediction. Like, you know, we've known for months. Like Reggie said in an interview months ago that third-party activity in 2019 it's got to go up. And Switch sales obviously are high enough now that they're catching the eye of any publishers. I mean, actually, there's a stat I saw the other day that here in California, the single best-selling item on Walmart.com for all of 2018, number one item across every type of item you can imagine, the Switch.
Wow.
In other states,
even over food.
Yes, in other states, the top-selling individual items were things like paper towels, Crayola crayons. There must be a sale. Instant pots for cooking. Those are trendy, I guess, in the cooking world. But here in California...
Jars?
What?
Mason jars?
I did not see any mason jars.
I guess that'd be more Michael's, if anything.
But here in... I guess.
Well, they sell them there. I don't know if they...
Oh, yeah. But yeah, here in California, it was the Switch is the most popular item sold on Walmart. Single item sold on Walmart. So, like, that should catch the eye of third-party publishers. And really, the evidence, I think, that we're going to see this huge wave of additional ports and support, it's already kind of in motion. Like we mentioned a couple episodes ago, super briefly, Codemasters is bringing Grid to the Switch, which is a big deal since the last time they supported a Nintendo platform in a sort of meaningful way was, I think, like 2009 and 10 with the Wii. Actually, no, I take that back. They had one F1 racing game on Wii U, but I think it was like a licensed thing and not one of their like top tier properties like Grid or Dirt or anything like that. So the fact that they're bringing like a major quote unquote Codemasters property to Switch seems kind of potentially big. But besides that, there's also been all these retailer listings popping up suggesting that various games are coming. The big one that popped up in December was an Assassin's Creed compilation for Switch. And while that may not seem huge, it's notable because unlike in the Wii U or Wii days, Ubisoft has been very picky with what it brings to Switch.
Yeah, didn't we only get 3 and Black Flag?
So on Wii U, we got 3 and Black Flag. On Wii U, I would argue Ubisoft was a bigger supporter of Wii U than they ended up being of Switch, sort of. Because Wii U, they totally bought into that idea of, oh, the Wii U's gonna bridge the hardcore gamers and the casuals. So they threw all the casual stuff and all the hardcore stuff. We had Watch Dogs on Wii U. It took an extra year, but it was there.
That's true.
On Switch, all they've done so far is family-friendly fare, including Mario & Rabbids, which is an excellent game, and the South Park RPGs. They haven't really done... And I guess in Japan they had the cloud-based version of Assassin's Creed briefly to test. It might still be there. I don't even know. But it's not like, a real release. But now, to see Ubisoft have the confidence to bring their quote-unquote serious games to Switch, like that's a promising sign that third parties are really viewing the system in a more meaningful light. And, like, yeah, it just seems like a big deal. It's, like, I mean... They ended up not doing much with Assassin's Creed besides 3 and 4 on Wii. They're like, well, that didn't work, and they called it a day. So it's like they started with high expectations for Wii U, and then it kind of dropped off. And with Switch, they started low, and now they're kind of building up. So now that Switch has moved into like the Ass Creed echelon in Ubisoft's like mind, that seems promising to me. And yes, I did just call it Ass Creed because I love that nickname. It's so stupid. But yeah, I was about to say that I wonder which games might actually end up in the compilation. But then I realized I don't think I've ever actually played an Assassin's Creed. So I don't even know if I could even say. I mean, I watched a friend during our freshman year of college play a good chunk. If you want to
do... It would probably be like 1, 2, 3, Brotherhood. I guess that's it.
They could throw in the PSP and side-scrolling
because those are all the... I want to say 2... Oh, no, yeah. At the very least, they would have every game that has Ezio in it, which I believe was like the most popular protagonist.
Yeah.
Which would make it Part 2, Brotherhood, and I think there was some other one. But I think maybe just those two were the...
Have you actually played any of them ever, or are you in the same boat as me?
I watched Elvis play them.
You're literally in the same boat as me. I've watched but never played.
Yeah, I don't know. They looked fun.
Yeah,
but
yeah, and it
never really caught my eye like enough to play it.
See, I think we're the prime example of why something like a compilation of Assassin's Creed would work so well on Switch and make sense. Because, like, they can easily just throw the first 3 games on there, or the 3 you mentioned, or whatever, like all the earlier ones. And if you're a Nintendo-only gamer who owns a Switch, you only got 3 in Black Flag on Wii U. You never really got to experience the earlier games. And if you played them back when they came out on another system, it's also been long enough that you now might want to revisit them with the added benefit of portability. Like, that should be enticing to people. So, like, they're really... I don't see a way they lose if they do this. And I think Ubisoft, after looking at sales numbers and everything, is like, yeah, we don't see a way we lose either. And now here we are. But yeah, it's so weird when there's, like, a franchise as big as Assassin's Creed that's been on Nintendo systems. It's been everywhere.
It's been on DS.
It's been on DS. It's been on... Not 3DS, but it's been on DS. It's weird to think, like, how did I never play one of those at all? Like... It's like you know, I've played Call of Duty. I played, like, how did that one slip through?
Call of Duty?
No, Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
I'm just saying, like, how is it that
most
major...
people want to play from the beginning. Like, if I were to
Yeah.
play Assassin's Creed, I want to start with Assassin's Creed 1, but we've never had Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
access to that one.
We started with 3, and
Yeah,
then 4.
And by then, it's like, even though part 3 has nothing to do with 1 or 2, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess core story-wise, like, still, it's kind of like when we got Mass Effect 3.
Yes.
And not 1 and 2.
Yes, and you know what the worst part
Even though
about
we got-
that?
even
That
though
still bothers me.
There was a 1 and 2 compilation that you...
No, there's a 1, 2, 3 compilation,
Oh.
and it came out 2 weeks prior for other systems, and then Wii U owners only got 3 2 weeks later, and I'm like,
but that's because we
why?
got the little comic book that caught us up with 1 and 2.
Yeah, but I would much
Digital
rather...
comic book. It was like a little cutscene.
I'd much rather have the full games, personally.
No, yeah, of course.
I know. But yeah, it was like, that's such, like, EA really, they sent that game to die. Like, when I think of EA, I still think of, why did they send Mass Effect 3 to die? Like, that was such a weird move. They obviously knew it was in the pipeline, the compilation. Like, how hard? I don't know. It's bizarre. But actually, that does bring us to EA, which I think they're actually the biggest new tell that suggests that 2019 will be the year of third-party support for Switch. Because there's this rumor going around currently that EA is finally seriously looking to support Switch beyond just FIFA games. And the rumor stems from a YouTuber named DocTrey81, who claims that he found a private LinkedIn page. And on that LinkedIn page, there's a software engineer for EA, and he lists one of his responsibilities as bringing existing SDKs for Switch to, and I quote, allow game teams to enable publishing games on Switch.
I guess secrecy wasn't one of his responsibilities.
Well, it was a private LinkedIn page. So he tried and still failed. But yeah, so this of course led a lot of people to speculate that must be the EA Frostbite engine coming over, which they use to power everything from Madden to Battlefield to the upcoming Anthem, and it possibly is already running or will soon be running on Switch, which, you know, that sounds minor in a way. That's a big development considering EA's previous stance on Switch. Like, really, Switch has been kind of a second-class citizen for EA, more so maybe even than Mass Effect 3 on Wii U, because, like, even with FIFA, which does quite well on Switch, is a big co-marketing push from Nintendo, it's not at all comparable to the Xbox and PS4 versions. It's not up to par. It's missing features. It's missing modes. EA decided that they're going to build it in a separate engine on Switch, as some of you may remember. But then just a few weeks ago, because of all this, there's this huge brouhaha over the fact that there's this in-game event called Futmas. It offered daily challenges, new objectives, new players, and it was all within the game's Ultimate Team mode, which is something not in the Switch version because it doesn't have Frostbite powering it, so they didn't build this in because they would have had to build the whole thing from scratch for the Switch engine. So FIFA 19 on Switch, no Ultimate Team mode, no Futmas. Problem is, EA still got Nintendo to promote this in-game event, both on the NOA Twitter feed and in the Switch's news app. It took a week for EA to issue a statement going, whoops, sorry, yep, that's not on Switch. We didn't mean to promote that. Everything we just told you is free, doesn't even exist for you. Our bad.
That's messed up.
Yeah, and as you can imagine, like, those who do own FIFA 19 were pretty upset to get this reminder that, like, they paid the same $60 MSRP as, you know, the other versions, but they didn't get this huge mode, the central mode of the game. They didn't get all these events or in-game extras that were all free, and then they got, like, rubbed in their face by Nintendo and EA. And the fact that it took EA a week to respond shows how little they seem to care about Switch, right? Like, you would think they'd be like, oh, that's not good, and catch it within a day, but nope. And that's partly, to me, what makes this rumor such a big deal. Because if true, EA is basically doing a complete 180 on its Switch stance. Like, at bare minimum, it probably means FIFA 2020 will be on par with the Xbox and PS4 versions.
Super HD
4K. Well, not that, but
just because of 2020.
Oh, what?
Vision.
Oh, yes, I see what you're doing. It'll be crystal clear.
Yeah.
Extra clarity. But no, at bare minimum, it's got to have Ultimate Team Mode if this rumor is true. But beyond that, it opens up a very easy path for EA to bring over other games. You know, like Madden feels kind of like a shoe-in the same way that FIFA was. There was actually a period there, I don't know if you remember in the Wii days, where Madden on Wii was like a big seller and had some cool, actually like really cool, unique features thanks to the Wii Remote. Like, you could do a thing where you could basically use the motion controls for play calling, where you like kind of drew the plays and it actually would do it. Yeah, it's really cool. And there were like 2 or 3 years that Madden on Wii U was actually like a really good product and it sold well. And if they can capture that magic again on Switch, that's a good opportunity for them. Or, you know, maybe they bring over a scaled down Battlefield. Like, that's a wide open gap in the Switch's lineup. They could just throw Battlefield on there or Star Wars Battlefront or something like that. But what's most exciting for me about this potentially is just having EA support Switch in any meaningful way means they can start bringing over their killer backlog. Because frankly, they have a killer backlog. Like, even without Frostbite, ignore Frostbite. Think of all the older stuff they can get up and running now that they supposedly care about Switch, if this is true. You know, they can bring over like Mirror's Edge or Burnout. Those are great, like now playable on the go type of games. They could do Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, which is like kind of perfect for the Splatoon crowd. It's very similar. They could do SimCity, which would pair nicely for folks who have, I don't know, Civilization 6 or Roller Coaster Tycoon Adventures or whatever. They could do Dead Space. Like, they could use that to go after the Doom and Wolfenstein and Resident Evil crowd on the system. Like, they could even write the Mass Effect wrong. They already have the trilogy on PS3 and 360. Or, yeah, right? That's what it was on. Just port that to Switch. That will sell. Make it a portable revisit of the series leading into Mass Effect 4. It's like,
bring over Dragon Age Inquisition. That would be cool. I only hear good stuff about that one.
Yeah, and like I mean, there's so many possibilities. Like, are there any that you'd be... I feel like you played Dead Space. Did you play... I feel like I remember you saying that once.
I played most of Dead Space.
Would that be something if they brought to Switch they'd be interested in? Because like, there's so many games in their library that I'm just like, oh, that could be cool.
I like horror games, so I would definitely give that one a shot. A better shot.
I'd be down for Need for Speed, Burnout. I like racing games.
It's not EA, but I do kind of wish there was a sequel to oh my god, now I'm blanking out on the name, even though I just had it. It's the one by Disney Interactive.
Epic Mickey.
No. It's a racing game. It's like a realistic racing game, but it's kind of like a Michael Bay film and a racing game combined.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Like, you build a point.
Yeah, it was by the Burnout team.
Yeah,
because the Burnout team split from the Burnout.
To, like,
I'll find it.
Create disaster.
Yeah, Disney Interactive.
Hot Pursuit.
No, that's a Need for Speed game.
Velocity?
No, not quite. Split Second. Excuse me. Split/Second.
Yeah, that was a really cool
from 2010. See, that would be great. I mean, that's well, Disney and Nintendo are on good terms. I mean, we're getting Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Maybe they'll give us Split Second. I doubt it. Disney doesn't really make their own games. That's part of the reason they gave Nintendo Marvel.
Oh.
Disney sort of got out of the game publishing business. But yeah, someone owns the rights to that. And if they could bring it to Switch, that'd be super cool. But yeah, like, all these old games suddenly can have a new life on Switch. And it feels like if a lot of third parties jump on that bandwagon, which it looks like they are with stuff like EA, like, that's a really good opportunity. 2019 feels like the year. But there are two particular EA opportunities I want them to seize if this rumor is true. First, Star Wars. Like, they own the license.
Yeah, but has there been a good Star Wars game?
Well, there doesn't have to be. Here's what I'm thinking.
Make a new one?
They own the license. Yeah, they could make a new one, but I wasn't thinking that necessarily. They own the license. They could work out a deal with Nintendo and Lucas. They could get a compilation of Rogue Squadron remastered onto Switch. All three of them, one collection. The same way that people were hyped about Metroid Prime Trilogy, they could get hyped about this. I'm sure it would do well. You don't even need to, like, really upscale the or, like, you know, redo the graphics. Just up res to 1080. People will probably be happy. Maybe do a little, like, improvements of the lighting or something. Like, bare minimum, and people will still probably get it.
Yeah, just budget price it.
Yeah, like, make it like $30 or $40 instead of $60, and it could do really well. And like this, if the series is old enough where it'll appeal to people's nostalgia, so there's gonna be a lot of double dipping, And with Star Wars being super in right now because of the movies and everything, obviously. It's always in, but it's like extra in. Especially this year when Episode 9 comes out and brings that to a close. It's an easy opportunity to sell the game. The same way that I suspect that Marvel Ultimate Alliance is going to time around either Avengers 4 hitting theaters or hitting home release. Home video. It's not really home video anymore. Home release. I think the same way that Avengers or Ultimate Alliance will release around one of those two events, they could release this trilogy right at the same time as Episode 9. Like, I think that'd be really cool. Or, here's a second thought, and one you may not expect me to say, they could do stuff with The Sims. Like, The Sims actually has a weird history with Nintendo. I mean,
I forget that's an EA property.
Yeah.
But it is a popular one, or
it is.
Some versions are.
And it's been through weird forms on Nintendo systems. Like the basic ones were, we had Sims 2 and Sims 3 on DS and 3DS respectively. But EA also went wild with it, kind of. Like, I don't know if you remember back in the Wii and DS heyday, they made
Urban.
Oh, I'm getting to Herbs. The Herbs, spelled with a Z. No, I'll get there. First, let's ask you if you remember My Sims.
Kind of.
So really. My Sims was they took the Sims.
I remember Tomodachi Friend or something like that. No, not Tomodachi Friend.
Tomodachi Life is a Nintendo.
No, it was like one of the launch DS titles, and it was just like a pen pal thing.
Oh,
like a pen pal simulator.
Yeah, it was like PictoChat except without PictoChat. Yeah, that was by THQ. It was,
and there was some portraits of random characters, and I guess
what was it called?
Was it pen pals?
No, it might have been actually. Yeah, because they were like, what if we built a whole game around the idea of writing people messages because you have the touchscreen, which at the time was kind of cool. And then Nintendo's like, what if we built in a real messaging feature? And then I'm sure some developers were like, what? And cracked open whiskey and chugged the whole bottle on the spot in despair. But I think it might have been called Pen Pals. But no, My Sims was like this weird amalgamation of like chibi art styles with The Sims with Animal Crossing. So, like, you went to a town, and there were different people who had different roles. There was, like, a magician and a librarian and, like, a chef and what have you. And then you lived out your little sim life, but a big component was you were building things now. So you collect essence to, like, build furniture or remodel your house. So it's kind of like the collecting of items and customization of Animal Crossing mixed with, like, The Sims. And it did, like, okay. But it was kind of an interesting idea, and it shows that, there's some flexibility in the franchise. And then, of course, on the other end of the spectrum is what you just mentioned, which is the Herbs. Which, by the way, it's not just called the Herbs, spelled with a Z. It's the Herbs Sims in the City. So in case, like, suburban Sims wasn't good enough, you can go live as an urban Sim. And this wasn't exclusive to Nintendo systems. It was on GameCube. It was on DS when it first launched. It was on PS2 and everything else. But what's funny about it is how hard EA tried. It featured music from the Black Eyed Peas. And the idea was, if I remember correctly, it was basically The Sims if The Sims was set in a city and had actual gameplay goals. So there's a story, there's progression, there were villains you were defeating, there's an unnecessary amount of Will.i.am cameoing in the game. It was very strange. I don't think it aged particularly well. I haven't gone back and watched any videos of it, but I feel like if you go watch the Herbs, it's going to be very much a product of 2003, 2004. But the reason I mention these is EA is comfortable messing with the Sims formula a bit to fit different platforms, fit different eras and whatnot. So if you have the huge base of Animal Crossing fans already on Switch or soon to be coming to Switch, there feels like an opportunity here to like tweak Sims 4 a little bit, make it more Switch friendly, make it more console friendly. Maybe don't go like full Herbs. Don't bring Will.i.am into this. But you could do something that stands out a bit if you're EA. Like, this is a really good opportunity. Like, I've always liked the idea of the kind of more experimental Sims. This is like, honestly, the core game gets, like, I hate to say this because I know it's so popular, but maybe it's just me. The core game gets kind of boring pretty quick. Like, the core of The Sims, I remember playing back in the day and be like, this is super cool, and I got really tired of it really fast. Like, I love the idea that it's Sim City, but instead of a city, you're controlling individual people. Like, you're managing those people's lives instead of managing a city of people's lives. Like, that is cool to me. But yeah, I don't know. I played it for like a week or two and I was just over it. But all these spin-offs have always seemed intriguing to me. Even the Herbs, because it had gameplay goals. Like, I don't know, did you ever play it? Were you big on The Sims?
I tried it once in college.
And you had kind of the same vibe I did, it sounds like?
No, I'm done experimenting with The Sims.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it feels like if they just tweak it just a bit, it could do really well.
I mean, I see why people can get really into it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it just wasn't for me. That's really all it was.
Same. Yeah, it's nothing against the game, but I feel like
it's like, if I'm going to be investing this much time in something, I might as well do it in Smash Brothers Melee at the time.
Or Animal Crossing shortly thereafter.
When did I get into Crossing?
Yeah, when did you get into Animal Crossing? I was there day and date when it launched on GameCube. I was one of the early adopters.
Kind of the same thing then. It was like, I saw it and it just looked really boring.
Oh, you were very misinformed at the time.
No, I wasn't. It didn't get good until Wild World.
Whoa, hold on. The GameCube one was great. Wild World had the advantage that because it was portable, you could play it anywhere and really like take advantage of the...
Exactly.
Yes, but the GameCube one, gameplay-wise, is not that much different. It's just
on a console.
At home.
Yeah.
But no, I remember...
I mean, I got it when Circuit City was going out of business.
You waited a while.
So it was like $2 or $3, and then I got it and fell in love with it, and then I tried it on City Folk, and I'm like, nope, it's on a console, it's just not working.
Yeah, but see, if you didn't have the handheld experience, if you started on console, I agree, City Folk was the one I played the least, but if you started on console,
then it would have been the same thing when New Leaf came around, because I played that one for a while too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like New Leaf and Wild World were 2 I played a lot, but like, yeah, the GameCube original was pretty great because it was so different at the time, and I just remember like I saw something about it in Nintendo Power, I want to say, and I was like, yeah, this seems kind of crazy and weird. I'm going to get it. And then I got it, and day one. Like, I was like the only person that pre-ordered it at that time, it was a Software at Sarah. In fact, I was buddies with the people that worked at Software at Sarah. I was like this little kid that's like, oh, I like Nintendo. So they actually like would give me promotional displays and stuff.
Wow.
So I had, like, I'd be like, hey, can I have that display? And they'd be like, sure. And they give me like a cardboard cut. So I have in my house like it's a 4-sided Animal Crossing 3-story house.
Oh, I do know.
Made of cardboard, and it's all 4 seasons, and you hang it from the ceiling, and it rotates between 4 seasons. And they were like, sure, you can have it. No one knows what this game is. Like, we don't care. We're going to take down the promotional thing. But no, I was there, day one. I didn't even need those weird real-world spoof commercials to convince me to buy the game. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I didn't even need that.
I like those.
Yeah, those are actually really well done. But I didn't even need that. I was already on board. Like, I'm proud of being an early adopter of Animal Crossing. I don't know why. I'm like a weird hipster about a band, except it's Animal Crossing. It's weird. But anyway, yeah. So that's what I'm pretty confident we're going to see in 2019. A lot of ports from a lot of people, basically. And more third parties in general. But an area that like used to be pretty obvious suddenly doesn't feel like it this year, which is weird, and that's Nintendo's approach to the casual market. Like in the past, every year, it's been very abundantly clear. Either they're all in on casual or they're all out. But with Switch, they're kind of... I don't even know how to describe it. Like, meandering around? Just kind of like wandering lost. Like, you know that gif of John Travolta where he doesn't know where he is? I feel like that's them with the casual scene. It's really bizarre. Like, Labo was the big play in 2018, obviously, right? And the hype was there when it was first announced. And the first variety kit, that sold really well. And then Time actually just recently named it one of the top 50 innovations of 2018. And Nintendo's now featuring that all over Labo's marketing. And they really seem primed for this thing to be a huge success. You know, Mario Kart 8 had support. No, at the time. Like, if you look back 2018, they really seemed like they were primed for it to be big. Like, what I was starting to say is Mario Kart 8. Remember, it gained Toy-Con support, and it's like, oh, wow. And there were always hints of other games will get Toy-Con support. Except then it just kind of tapered off. Yeah. Like, Nintendo kept saying sales will be a slow burn, and that the holidays will be good. But the problem is, everyone seemed to be selling Labo at a discount this holiday. I mean, get a free kit with your Switch at Target, or like buy 2 kits for $100 at Best Buy, etc., etc. Like, I kept seeing these deals, and for a company who rarely discounts their products, especially in a period they believe sales will be strong in, kind of weird to see them do this. Like, something's up.
I do kind of wish they kept going more with the kits at a faster rate,
right?
Like,
that would have helped.
I mean, I don't know.
No, that wouldn't have helped. Well, because they can't sell them at the slow rate.
I was kind of waiting for the bird one. They still haven't even told us like what it does. What's wrong with
Random question. Why is Smash playing in the background? I mean, it's thematically on point. I think we could keep going, but...
We're trying out this new thing where it's kind of like ambient background noise.
Except it's like literally just running with no one playing it. I'm very confused. I know Elvis was here playing it.
Oh, no, but that's it's soothing background music.
Oh, okay. Well, everyone enjoy the sweet melodious sounds of smashing.
For bonus...
Well, that sounds wrong.
For bonus points, see if you can guess what characters are in the background. I don't even know how audible it is, but...
It might not be audible at all. I just noticed when I was talking, I'm like, I hear Smash Bros.
Anyway, but
what were you saying?
They need to get on that bird contraption.
I agree. I think there's still... I don't think they're going to fully give up. I think there's still a 2019 kit coming down the pipe, but, like... Labo feels like more of a flash in the pan than they originally were probably thinking it would be. which is a bummer because that was very clearly their strategy.
Well, I mean,
at the time.
Actually, I take that back. I was gonna say like, well, they did make it clear it was aimed at a specific audience, but I also forget that audience is supposed to be more than enough to make up for sales.
Yeah, exactly. And I know for me personally, like, I was very happy with the Variety Kit. I thought it did some really cool stuff with, minor setbacks. And what's funny is then, like, the thing I thought they needed to improve on was the software, the actual games. And the Vehicle Kit came out and it fixed all that. And I'm like, oh, here's an actual included game that feels like a game. But I just didn't want to fold more cardboard, I guess. Like, I feel like it was more of a novelty than Nintendo anticipated people thinking it was. You know what I mean? So I don't want to judge too soon here. Nintendo's financials, they come out end of the month. We're, of course, going to talk about them. At that point, we're going to get hard numbers or at least a vague summary of the performance. So that will give us a sense of how Labo's really doing. But as of right now, if you asked me in April of last year, will Labo be big in 2019? Will that be their casual push? I would have been like, oh, yeah, totally. But now, at the start of 2019, I don't think we're going to see much of Labo at all. Maybe a new kit, but it's going to be pretty quiet. Which makes it hard to say what is Nintendo doing beyond traditional games. That's kind of my whole point, because if Labo's not there, what are they doing, if anything? And right now, they only have this weird, slow, like, dabbling in genres that they used to completely own in the Wii days. And that's what's weird to me. It's like last summer, they put out Go Vacation, and that was them basically being like, hey, remember how we used to do all these fun minigame compilations? Here's Bandai Namco's elaborate knockoff of one of those, but we're going to go ahead and publish it. And it's like, all right, that's fine. And it's apparently a pretty decent game, but it's just like, what? And then this weekend, like literally 2 days ago, they did the exact same thing with the fitness game genre by releasing Fitness Boxing, which is by Imagineer, not them. And unlike Go Vacation, this is an all-new game to Nintendo and Imagineer's credit. And it sort of does what Wii Fit did and sort of didn't. Like, basically, you hold one Joy-Con in each hand, and you're punching the air to match the rhythm of in-game music. You hold your woe for the real moment here. All the in-game music is instrumental takes of popular songs like Call Me Maybe. You don't even get lyrics. And there's 20 of them. Only 20.
That is woe.
But yeah, and there's even, ready for another world, there's even multiplayer. So you can, I don't know what to call it, beatbox? Beatboxing something else. But you can beatbox with your friends. So you can do like two sets of cardio. No, that's what I'm calling it. But the thing that to me is sort of like, why is Nintendo doing this? Is it's all wrapped up.
I wish that was like it had like a music level where you have to like, punch to the beat of the song, and then they call that beatboxing.
No, they do. That's the whole game. You punch to the rhythm.
Oh, so it is.
It's a rhythm game. So it's literally a cardio heavy rhythm game.
Then why didn't you just call it like something like beatboxing?
Because they're trying to angle it like We Fit, which is what's so bizarre to me.
Oh, gotcha.
Like literally, the entire presentation is wrapped in like a We Fit wrapper. Like the UI is similar. The woman on the box is like the sister of We Fit trainer. Like she also doesn't have a face and is silhouetted in pure white and has like only colored hair and a clothing. But even like in the game, the font they use for all the menus is the Wii Fit menu font. It's so like obviously supposed to be channeling Wii Fit, but then it's
Nintendo, sure ain't so.
But then it's not. But that's the thing; it's not really Nintendo. They like just grabbed someone else's game and published it. It's so weird. Like the only difference I saw is in-game trainers look like actual humans, and you can dress them in gear you unlock. So there's a little gamification going on. But, like, I mean, it sounds like, honestly, it could be good.
Does it use Mii's?
It does not.
Oh.
But, because it's just you and your trainer. And their whole pitch is like, oh, you can do your cardio anywhere with the Switch. Put it in your hotel. Do it on the plane, whatever. But, like, it sounds good for what it is, honestly. And Nintendo was pretty savvy to release it literally days after the new year. But I just, like, I don't see this thing lighting the charts on fire. It's probably going to be like Go Vacation and just do fine. It's just weird that, like, Nintendo's essentially publishing other people's elaborate riffs on their own past successes. And I don't know, like,
is a sincere form of flattery,
I guess, and Nintendo seems to be rewarding it. But like in the Wii days, Nintendo was like so very, very clearly gung ho for this stuff, like. And in the Wii U days, they were so very, very clearly trying to merge that audience with the core gamers on a single platform. And then in the early Switch days, they were so very, very clearly steering away from all of this. And now it's like, I don't know what they're doing. What is this? Like the only thing I could think of is that they don't really care about the casual scene, and this is just kind of like market research for the future. Like maybe in 2 years we'll make Wii Fit again or call it Switch Fit. But in the meantime, here's fitness boxing or beatboxing or whatever you want to call it. And like I don't know. Like someone actually made a point that was kind of interesting over on Reset Era. I think the guy's name was like, I have it somewhere here. His name was
That's the new NeoGaf. Just double check.
Yeah, it's the new NeoGaf.
Is that the one with the little Triceratops and their logo?
No.
Huh.
No.
What am I thinking of?
I don't know what you're thinking of. No, NeoGaf had the little ball that looks like a Pokeball, but it's orange and black. And then their admin got in some interesting sexual assault trouble, and then everyone exited that site and went to Reset Era, which has a little purple logo.
That place already existed?
No, it was built by the refugees of NeoGaf, if you will. But now it's bigger than NeoGaf, and it's where all the insiders went and stuff. It's a fun forum to read. But anyway, there's a user on there. I think his name's I had it written down. Where is it? Sengazan. And he pointed out something kind of interesting about Switch's Year 3 lineup, which is what will be after March, and the 3DSs. And that's that they're kind of the same in their Year 3. They both have a side-scrolling Mario. Back then it was New Super Mario Bros. 2, now it's U Deluxe. They both have a Fire Emblem. Back then it was Awakening, now it's Three Houses. They both have an Animal Crossing. They both have a Luigi's Mansion. They both have a new core Pokemon RPG. Gen 8 for us now, X and Y then. And what's notable here, besides this parallelism, is that the third year of 3DS, which he's comparing it to, is the year Nintendo doubled down on traditional gaming for 3DS and kind of cast aside stuff like Nintendogs and Cats and cast aside brain age concentration training. They were like, no, this is it. This is how we make the 3DS succeed. Because up to that point, 3DS was kind of floundering. Remember, it was doing really bad. The price was too high. People weren't buying it.
Good times.
Yeah, fun times. We got 30 Game Boy games out of it. So, but no, it was not a great time for 3DS, and then it really started taking off when they started putting out all these games, all these core games, traditional games, and they did the 3DS XL, and there's a whole revamp. And obviously, the Switch doesn't need a revamp. It's selling great, although supposedly second half of this year we're getting something. So keep an eye out for that, Wall Street Journal. But yeah, but my point is if they're mirroring the traditional game playbook from the 3DS's first successful year, that kind of points to maybe the casual sphere just isn't one that's being cared about this year. Maybe Nintendo just really isn't going to do anything. They're just going to do one more Labo kit, ride it out. They're going to have their weird little offspring of their games by other publishers, and that'll be it. Which is weird because Nintendo never has been Nintendo's never been the embodiment of the shruggy emoji about casual before. They've either been super in or super out. So it's kind of weird that we're in this limbo state. So we'll see. But fitness boxing, I kind of want to try the demo. It actually looks kind of fun as a rhythm game. And it's healthy.
Well, there's a demo, so
there is a demo. You get 3 days of cardio to do. So for anyone that missed it, I literally just did a little punching motion, and he gave me a funny look. But yeah, so that's maybe what's going on. Or actually, new theory. Forgot about this. There's a new theory. I have a new theory. It's not that they don't care.
Whoa, boy.
It's that they're too busy. It's that they're too busy making walking apparatuses. Weird walking apparatuses. Did you see this patent?
Did we already talk about our New Year's resolutions?
We're about to right after this, but did you see the? Oh, so you have not yet. Okay.
No.
All right, we'll get to whatever you're going to say in a
That's
sec.
fine.
Let me just really quick sneak this in because all right, let me tell you about it then. So there's a recent patent, and it's one of the oddest things that I think has come out of Nintendo in a while. It's a pair of legs. It's a pair of legs that can carry things. It's like a wheelchair or a cart, but instead of a wheel, it is legs. And the whole thing doesn't require any battery or electricity. It's self-perpetuating when you push it from behind. It's literally just walking legs with a platform. And what's perhaps stranger about it is that it's not even an original Nintendo idea. What they basically did is that, the original patent, that dates back to 2011, is by researchers at a Japanese technology institute. I think it was Nagoya. And what Nintendo did was essentially co-sign that patent from 2011 back in May of 2017. And they co-signed it by adding an improvement of cogs and cranks that helped you better control the legs. And only now has the patent been made public in the last week and a half or so. And the whole thing is kind of conceptually cool because it's basically you could take a cart or chair and you can do it across all sorts of different terrains. What a wheelchair can't go on, this can because it has legs.
Nice.
So it doesn't. But it doesn't need a flat surface. Conceptually, it's really cool. It doesn't need a flat surface. It can basically climb things. But I have no idea why Nintendo is patenting this. It's too complex for Labo Toy-Con. No one's gonna build legs out of cardboard. I'm sorry. Maybe it's the sequel to ARMS we've been waiting for. I don't know. But I'm thinking it could be a toy of some sort,
I still thought they were gonna have a character at some point, one of the DLC ones would be a character that walks on his hands and fights with his legs. So his legs are the springy ones. So he's still fighting with arms. It doesn't change that mechanic.
Yeah.
But just design wise, he looks kind of weird walking around.
he's basically handstanding all the time.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. And maybe this will be a life-size toy of him you can play as, except he's actually walking on his
I guess
legs,
he'd be.
so
I would imagine he'd be a heavy of some kind, just because kicks are stronger than punches. I mean,
right.
So
They're also mother approved, kid tested, mother approved kicks cereal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But wow, this is going off the rails and fast. But no, what I was gonna say is like I don't know what this is for. Like leg arm man aside, like
a person, just a person.
Yeah, an upside down person aside. Like, what is the point of this? Like Nintendo also patented not just this design, but they have one with an upper torso attached, and they have one with 4 legs. So for one minute, I'm like, maybe they're building like a real life Guardian from Breath of the Wild, and this is the first draft. Like I don't know, but. The only thing I can think of that makes any remotely real sense is that maybe this has something to do with the theme park. Like maybe it's a way for guests who need walkers to still explore the verticality of the park. Because like you remember from the mock-ups, like there's a lot of like layers to it. It's like a giant wedding cake almost. Like there's so many different heights and layers. So maybe this is for that. But if that's the case, why would Universal not patent this? Because Universal the one building the park. Nintendo's just consulting. So I don't know. Whatever it is. When you see Nintendo release self-perpetuating legs in the future and tie them into arms to legs, or leg man, aka human, just remember it all started here with this weird patent. So like in 5 years, when Nintendo's hot new innovation, when the Switch 2 is just some legs you push, you heard it here first, and on the internet at the same time, in 2019. So legs aside, that I guess is kind of like the macro level look of what we think could happen in 2019. Like we had your game predictions, we had my more like business side predictions, I guess you could say. But any good new year also includes personal resolutions. So since you wanted to go first and you already started to talk about yours, we're talking about gaming resolutions specifically. What is your 2019 gaming resolution and why?
So I don't know, mine's just kind of weird because it's not so much a let's play more games kind of deal. It's kind of like a improving a quality of life. It's like a quality of life.
That's what resolution's all about, is improving a quality of life.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah. So basically, over the past few years, I've just been getting tired of like rumors, speculating, like just like seeing like all these things like pop up, and especially just seeing game announcements super early. Yeah, we have a podcast. Yeah, we do talk about these things, but like just being exposed to it almost like 24/7. Because I mean, when you follow as many like Twitter channels and like other avenues as we do. Like, you see the same news posted multiple times. And, I don't know, I just wanted to just,
step back.
Yeah, just take a step back to, like, simpler times, and so far it's been working. What I basically did is I unfollowed anything gaming related and unsubscribed from any...
Wait, did you unfollow at Random Nintendo, your source for all the latest episodes of Random Podcast?
That was the first one.
Was it really? How could you?
Actually, I don't remember if I unsubscribed.
Well, we don't ever tweet news, so you're welcome to refollow us.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
got way too real for a second.
Yeah, and I also like unsubscribed from any like YouTube channel that just cover like just gaming news in general. I mean, the biggest one was probably just Go Nintendo, just to get out of the way.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because with Go Nintendo, they're so on top of it.
Yeah, because they're like the aggregate.
If you don't want to know things, don't go to Go. If you want to know anything, Go Nintendo's got it. So if you want to do the opposite, don't.
You could literally just unsubscribe from just Go Nintendo.
See, I actually don't follow them on Twitter. I only check their site.
Yeah, I see. I don't go to their site that often unless I see something interesting on their Twitter feed.
I'm the other way. I don't look at their Twitter feed.
But basically, yeah, and also that way, news is a little fresher. If I hear about something, and lately it has been the case, like I did not know about
legs,
the
walking legs.
Oh yeah, I didn't know about that. Yeah. I didn't know. I thought you were talking about my character.
Oh well, you didn't know about him either. It's not like you made him up on the fly.
I didn't know about these like Smash rumors. Like everything has been very like word of mouth lately.
Right. We'll get to the Smash rumors.
And it does get to the point where it's like okay, cool. Like if I want to know about it, like I'll tell them to tell me. Otherwise, it's like cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And same thing with like Nintendo Directs. Like my resolution is just keep my ear as far away from the ground as possible until like a couple days before the podcast, just so I could be informed and just still have my fresh takes on them, just so they're not like bubbling for 2 weeks and then forget about that it even happened.
That is the funny thing about how we do our podcast in the directs, is that there are gaps. Like sometimes it's like the same weekend and it's like, oh, awesome, this is gonna be super hot takes, and other times it's like, these are barely lukewarm takes. It's been like 12 days.
Yeah, it's already like room temperature. It's already gone cold.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just the nature of what we tackled,
right?
But yeah, besides that, I mean, the only things I didn't unsubscribe from were anything Smash Bros. Related.
Because you're actively playing it.
Yeah.
It's not news. It's what's
exactly.
happening.
Like, when I got the tweet about like, oh, this new like, Snake has a kill confirmed from 160 with an up tilt after a down grab, so stuff like that. But
just casually throw that out there.
Well, yeah,
yeah. No, I get what you mean.
Yeah, that's
an interesting one.
That's my gaming resolution.
It's kind of you're basically going back to the pure form, just playing games for the games.
As close as I can in this day and age of the internet. I mean, more so than that, I'm just trying to get more. I'm the same amount to the same level that I paid attention to the gaming industry. I want to do for the animation industry, if not more. So, by getting rid of one, I'm kind of substituting the other. So.
Yeah, that makes sense, and that's more where your future is going in terms of your career. So I get that. Mine's gonna seem silly by comparison. Mine's brace yourselves, folks. I'm going to beat a game this year.
Whoa.
That's all I've got. That's it. Like it's this. Yeah, we got Elvis in the background.
Wait, are we talking like a 10-hour game, a 20-hour game?
I don't know. I'm just promising a game will be beaten by the end of the year. That's my resolution.
Well, we'll check in on you in June.
Like it's this running. I mean, for those who don't listen regularly, it is this running thing that I never beat my games. And you know what made me realize that I need to change that besides your constant ribbing and Elvis's constant ribbing is our contest about it. Like, you sprung that on me. For those who missed it last episode, Angel surprised me by announcing a contest with a prompt of basically telling people which game they've jasoned. Meaning, which game, or games plural, did they not finish and why.
Yeah, which one did they start and just abruptly stop.
And we, at the time...
most of the time, it's games that you really liked, and I mean, it's like I don't really know why I stopped. I just got busy and just never got back to it.
And the deal was one person who leaves a comment would walk with a $20 eShop gift card. So first off, thanks to those of you who entered. But also, I kind of hate all of you because you indirectly exposed the reality that I have zero real excuses for not beating.
Yeah, a lot of you had legit reasons.
Yeah, because so everyone who entered did have actual reasons. Like you're saying, yeah, they were totally legit. Like we had multiple people who simply couldn't get past a final boss or later level. There's a DBZ Squirrel. He was on final boss of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance and just could not beat it. He said at the time he didn't understand the slash mechanic because he was young.
But he somehow made it all the way over there.
Yeah, but he made it that far. So good for
the core mechanic of the game.
Yeah, but
still though, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's why he didn't. Then we have GBA Color, who got lost in A Link to the Past Dark World and then just never went back.
That happened to me too once, but I did go back eventually.
I never got to. No, I did get to Dark World. I take that back. I was about to say I never even got that far.
Dude, the Dark World is like a horrible maze. It's like
it is. I mean, I understand where GBA is coming.
No, yeah, I'm not saying in disagreement. I'm just like. Yeah, I'm sympathizing.
And then we also have Mel, who never beat Beautiful Joe and now just wants to. And then we have John HQ with Majora's Mask, who played it with a friend, and the two of them couldn't do it. And they're like, well, then just never went back. So that's one bucket. They just couldn't beat it, right? Then you've got the folks who simply didn't have the time to dedicate to it. Like there's Robert, that's TH, who had such a big backlog that he's behind on older games. Like he was saying he needs to start Zombie U and Etrian Odyssey and Metroid Fusion because he only just now beat even older ones. Like he was saying he beat Final Fantasy 5 and 6 this past year. I'm like, how? Wow, that's a big backlog if you're 4 generations behind. So he had that excuse. And then there was George who didn't he just didn't have the time to explore Breath of the Wild's huge Hyrule, so he just didn't. And then we have Beagle, who this one I think most people can relate to.
That's kind of why I like my mentalities with my approach with Breath of the Wild. I knew exploring everything would take forever, but I knew I wanted to beat it, so I literally just...
You sort of sped run it.
So I just took the straightest line possible.
Speed ran.
Right out of the plateau, I went straight for Ganon, couldn't beat it, so I did one temple, and then I went back to Ganon, and then I beat it.
There's your strategy, George.
And then I went back and started exploring everything I could, and I'm still doing that because that game is so big.
Right.
And who knows if I'll ever finish it.
Right. But
properly. But I did make the credits roll.
And that's what counts as being it, right?
Yeah.
And then we had, this is the one I was saying that most people could probably relate to. We had Beagle, who told us that he bought Kingdom Hearts Recoded. He was all set to play it, and then Smash for 3DS came out. So he's like, well, let's back burner Kingdom Hearts. I'm going to play Smash. And then when he was done with Smash and he's ready to start Kingdom Hearts, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire released. And he's like, well, let's back burner Kingdom Hearts again and play Alpha Sapphire, and then he just never, and it's just perpetually just continued.
Literally the reason why I had to put everything aside and just beat God of War before Smash Ultimate came out.
Because you knew.
Yeah.
You were able to plan. You learned preemptively from Beagle's mistake that I only told you after you already did the thing. But yeah, and then we got this third bucket of people that commented, and these are games that they just couldn't get into, which is a thing. That's totally legit. Like, so we have a regular listener named Kurt Bop. He gave 2 examples of recent occurrences on Switch where he was gung-ho about a game, he liked it conceptually, and then just it did not click with him. One was Yooka-Laylee, which he found to be kind of boring after a couple hours, and like, honestly, he's not wrong. I mean, Yooka-Laylee has kind of this weird emptiness to it. Like, I never even got far enough in it to feel like I was at a point where I was comfortable giving impressions on the show. Because I was just like, oh, this is, like, I'm like, oh my god, it's like Banjo Kazooie, and the more I'm playing, I'm like, really, there's nothing there. It's just kind of voids. But anyway, that was one game. And then the other one he said was Hollow Knight, which is very well received by a lot of people, but even though he likes Metroidvanias, it just didn't really click with him, is what I was saying. So here's the thing about all these examples I just gave, which, by the way, again, thanks to all you who entered. All of these are legitimately better excuses than anything I will ever or can ever come up with. I never got particularly stuck in any games when I stopped. I rarely even beat my short games, so it's not a time issue, let alone the long ones. I often stop before the backlog issue even becomes an issue, and it's not even like the games are bad or not clicking with me. I still haven't beaten Mario Odyssey, which is one of my all-time favorite games. It's up there. It's like my favorite Switch game for sure, and maybe Smash is coming close to it. But like, there's like all the reasons that I just went through with these people, none of these apply to me. So this year that's changing. This year I'll beat a game, maybe multiple. I don't know what game. We'll see. We don't even know what's necessarily coming out this year in full, but it's going to happen. It could be an older game, could be a newer game. I don't know. I'm just promising, and you can do check-ins every so often on the show, but I'm just promising there will be at least a game beaten.
I even thought, like, hey, Jason likes TV shows. He should play the Telltale games, and he got the Batman one.
And I loved it, and I talked about it on the show.
After months and months of not playing it, he finally played it.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, look, like, this kind of gameplay is perfect. It's like I'm watching a show and I'm interacting once in a while. It's like Bandersnatch, even though that wasn't a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I do love Bandersnatch, too. That was a really cool experience on Netflix, and like that is Telltale, but real.
And then I'm like, cool. So how's it going? Like, well, the thing is, Jason got a new game, which means that he had to take out the cartridge, which means that it's not going back in.
But see, not even that, because it can go back in. Like, I don't buy the backlog thing, like, because people are like conscious of, oh, this game's preventing me from playing another game. I'm never conscious of that. Yeah, it's just like out of sight, out of mind, which is worse.
Yeah, exactly.
And the problem with Batman is I thought it was really cool. I remember raving about it on the podcast.
I mean, you told me you were enjoying Doom, but as soon as that left your cartridge slot...
I think, do you still have my copy of Doom? No, you get it back.
I gave it back a long time ago.
But yeah, so I don't know what
That's why you need to get them downloaded so that they're all on your console at once.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, I'm going to be a game this year. That's my plan. And while we're on the topic of the contest, we should probably announce our winner. We still have more show, but we'll just announce it now because we're here. So one of these guys and gals who didn't beat their games, we're about to give a $20 gift card to further deepen their backlog and make it harder to keep beating their games. So let's pick our winner, shall we? We are just going to pull a name out of a hat. We already randomized it. I don't know why I'm acting like we're picking it in real time. We already picked it. The winner is GBA Color. So keep an eye out on your email, or an eye on your email, GBA. We will be sending you a $20 gift card. And you can use that to maybe, if you haven't checked out A Link Between Worlds, has a slightly easier Dark World. I was able to beat A Link Between Worlds. So if I can beat it, I think you can beat it. But yeah, whatever you want to buy with it, $20 is yours. So thanks again to everyone who entered. Now onward and upward to the rest of the show. There's something you mentioned when you were talking about your resolution that I feel like we got to address in some capacity. And that is the Smash Bros. Leak. So we knew Piranha Plant was coming. We knew Joker from Persona was coming. But because the internet sucks and ruins everything, we now may also know the other 4 DLC characters that are going to be out over the next 13 months.
Why do you got a data mine? It's like, why?
Yeah, so it's due to a mix of data mining and insider information, and this insider correctly predicted other aspects like the announcement of Persona 5R a couple weeks before it was actually revealed. So there's probably some truth to this. But here's the thing, to your point and to your resolution. We're not going to reveal the fighters here. If you want to see the list, and assuming it is correct, there's a link in the blog post on this episode over at the blog, roundtown.com, to do so. But frankly, it just seems lame to spoil this. Like, it's kind of a bigger beef I think you definitely have with the internet, and I'm starting to feel too, and that's this idea that nothing can be a surprise anymore. Like, Nintendo is planning to trot out this DLC over the next 13 months. That's over a year of this. And they're going to have reveals scattered throughout the year. You know, they're going to do one probably in a Direct, do one at E3, et cetera, et cetera. remember how excited everyone was about Joker when he was revealed and how people lost their minds, or the collective internet's reaction to Piranha Plant where that came out of nowhere? That's gone. If this is true, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. It's done. The hype won't be there. And besides just hearing Nintendo's hype on a marketing level, it just makes it less fun when they reveal these. It's just like, oh, there's the thing I knew about. Okay. When's it out? Oh, it's out now? Okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's this communal level of excitement about gaming that will just now be missing for the Smash community for the next 13 months because the surprises aren't surprising anymore because it's known. Like, sure, you can avoid the leaks like you would movie spoilers, or you can disconnect from the web like you're doing, but I feel like this is like, it feels like a symptom of a bigger shift in gaming culture that I kind of don't like. It's just this idea that nothing can be a secret. Nothing can be revealed. It all has to be leaked. Like, you got folks data mining every Switch game to tell you each new Splatoon weapon before it's out. You've got YouTube videos exposing every little tucked away secret and hidden Easter egg in a game. And, like, don't get me wrong. We're guilty of reporting some of the data mines here on the show in the past. And I do watch and sometimes share on my, like, Twitter the very videos I'm complaining about. Like, Game Explain's team does some incredible stuff and finds really crazy things. But I don't know, like, I just kind of miss the days of, like, playground rumors about games, about when we were kids, and it's just like you learn it from a friend or word of mouth, like you're saying. And what really reminded me of this feeling of, like, surprise was there's this tweet from Super Mario Bros. That's the Twitter account I mentioned on the show in the past. They post these obscure Mario trivia and tidbit things, and they did one about Yoshi's story. And they pointed out that if you find the coins that are hidden in each level that form a letter, like they are like laid out in the shape of a letter, all those letters across the 24 levels of Yoshi's story spell out you are Yoshi's great partner, which is obviously just an Easter egg. And it's a very small thing. But what's crazy is most people had no idea about this for 20 years. And I just love that games as a, you know, there's this game I loved as a kid. I beat it dozens of times and I never knew. And I just love that now it's only now being discovered. And I realized kind of when seeing that tweet and seeing stuff like the Smash roster leak, and then you telling me your resolution before we even recorded, that there's basically no chance of something like that going undiscovered for so many years in the current era. Like, you have to actively disengage from the gaming community in order to have that sort of magic of discovering something through word of mouth from friends at school, or like even the magic of there being crazy rumors about things in a game that weren't actually in the game. Like, that's gone too, because now it can be proven or disproven in like a minute flat just by searching YouTube. Like, you don't have kids today sharing crazy wives' tales of a secret emote in Fortnite that you can unlock, because you can just hop on your smartphone and prove or disprove its existence on the spot. Like, it's this whole like weird like underside of gaming that's gone. Like, I mean the best example I can think of is, remember the whole like missing no thing with Pokemon Red and Blue, or like How to Catch Mew?
Oh, yeah. Like,
anyone that grew up with Pokemon in the 90s, like, that's a classic part of that experience, is having, you know, the stories of how do you get missing no. There are always like 2 or 3 different ways to trigger that glitch, or like find Mew depending on, you know, which friend you talk to. You hear a different story of how you found it. I heard
about the whole pushing the truck one, but that was the one that wasn't true.
Yeah, and you know, even when it was pushing the truck, it's like, oh, do you push it because Mew's under the truck? Oh, no, there's Team Rocket base under a truck you can go into, and obviously that wasn't true either. It turns out with Mew, what it was it's a glitch that's now known as trainer fly by speedrunners. I looked into this, and it basically is, if you do a certain series of events in a certain sequence, it will just trigger this, basically, if you speedrun. So people who were trying the truck thing, well, one, were wrong, but if it ever did happen, is due to other things that just simultaneously were happening as they tried to get to the truck.
Yeah, I remember the easiest one was the Nugget Bridge way to unlock Mew. It's like you have to like fight a specific number of trainers in a specific order,
right?
Talk to a certain person, and then right when you get challenged by someone else, you have to like press the start button, and suddenly your start button's disabled, and
yeah, it's just like,
then you take like 10 steps, and boom, there's Mew.
And how about Missing No, where it was like there's an item duplication trick apparently, but also he was catchable if you talk to one old man, then fly to Cinnabar Island.
Yeah,
but also if you do this, but also if you do that, like, you know, where, and different people would be like, do you fly different places, or like, what happens when you encounter him? Does anyone you know have him? Can we see what happens in a battle? Like, it was really like,
yeah, what happens when you capture it, and then it messes up your Hall of Fame,
and then your game's ruined. But that was part of the experience. Like, all these questions were part of this word of mouth like scavenger hunt that data mining and YouTube would now solve in a few seconds flat, and just kind of like ruined. Like, it was fun to go on that scavenger hunt. It was fun to report back to friends. And that, to me, is what made this whole, like, old gaming gossip world kind of... It's sad that it's gone.
And even though it ended up being fake, it was kind of fun to imagine, like, oh, I guess Sonic is in Melee somehow. If, like, you beat Cruel Smash, like, 20 people. Like, there was, like, an image...
Courtesy of EGM, I remember that.
But back when, like, you know, Photoshop wasn't, like, the most commonplace thing where anyone could just be like, oh, that's Photoshopped. Like, people would be like, oh, look, there's proof of that.
Yeah, and that's the other half of it is, like, you never really knew what was real or not. You had to kind of go explore the game world to figure it out for yourself, and it made you play games differently than you would otherwise. Like the Yoshi Story thing. I was mentioning that before. Like, go back to that for a sec. There were 2 prominent rumors in my social circle about Yoshi's Story. One is there's a black and white Yoshi to unlock, and one is there's a purple Yoshi to unlock. Black and white were actually, like, real. Like, everyone that's played Yoshi knows that. And my first successful attempt at finding a secret in a game that a friend told me was black and white Yoshi, and at the time it blew my mind, or black and white Yoshis, plural. And at the time it blew my mind because not just because, like, I pulled it off, but also because it was actually true. Like, hey, a thing that my friend told me is really in the game. And then purple Yoshi, that one supposedly required you to collect every single coin in the game. I never actually did that. I never expected to be able to find every coin, but it motivated me to, like, play it more and explore more and do more of, like, play it a different way, because I was like, oh, maybe there are coins I can find. And that in of itself made the rumor worthwhile, even though it wasn't even real. Like, or like the Sonic one, like EGM, GamePro, those guys cut their teeth on doing pranks like that because you couldn't really verify it for a while. It was just a fun thing that riled up the community, got people to try different things in the game, do different things. I'm sure some people were super pissed when they didn't get Sonic when they did what they were supposed to do, but, like, would you have done that thing in Smash in order... You know, if you didn't have Sonic at the end, would you have tried that whatever scenario?
Especially in the N64 days. Like, I remember going to GameFAQs.com back when, like, pretty much everything was unconfirmed unless you confirmed it yourself.
Yeah.
And they had, like, this long list of, like, cheat codes for Smash Brothers. And obviously only, like, one of them worked, but the other ones were like how to unlock Squirtle, how to unlock James Bond, how to unlock...
I remember the James Bond one.
Like all these other characters, and, like, they all seemed, like, plausible because there was no way to really prove it otherwise.
And that's what made it so fun. And it's kind of a bummer that, like, we know... And honestly, you can't have DLC, like, be figured... Like, what we're saying doesn't apply to the fact that we know the DLC for Smash, but it applies to the bigger picture of, like, we know. We know things we shouldn't. We know things we can't wait for it to be, like, it's told to us in one way or another from a friend. It's
fun living in an age where someone, I guess, puts the game into a computer and just, like, looks at all the files and goes like, nope, there's nothing in the file that says there is this thing here.
Yeah, it just...
Therefore, it doesn't exist. Like, there's no point in even speculating about it. It's just... It's black and white.
Yeah. And, I mean, this did live on in tandem with early internet. Like, Sonic Adventure 2? 1? 2? Which one had the child... 2, right? 2. Like, there were rumors about stuff with that. I don't even remember what those were.
I mean, neither too much. Like, it had something to do with it
was like making Eggman playable, right?
First in the beginning, like, just one of the big ones that there was even like a good child garden and a bad child garden, and like even though like there were images of the characters, like the evil child, and the good child on the front, like most people hadn't really seen it, and then when you get it yourself, it's like whoa, because I mean, there was no game explain or anything to be like here's every single thing you can unlock.
Cool. Yeah, and that's what.
So
was
like
cool.
when you unlock it yourself, and then you see Eggman out of it, and Eggman out of his like robot, and then you get to run around with him, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if there's like a way to play with him outside of his robot, and then people are like, oh, you can, but you have to do this stuff, and
then you couldn't.
Yeah,
and that's like a good example of like, would you
have
even? Would you have done anything in the Chow Garden, in like the evil Chow Garden? Otherwise, maybe not. Like that got you playing.
Yeah, the same thing with like Mario 64. Like I remember there was a way to get Luigi, or in Sonic Adventure 1. I remember there's like a sprite of Cream the rabbit just like flying like up really high, like in the background.
Wait, Cream existed in 2000 or 99?
In Sonic Adventure, yeah. Her first appearance was Sonic Advance 3.
Yeah, that came out after.
But yeah, she was there in Sonic Adventure.
What? See, this right here is what I miss. Really?
Yeah,
she appeared in Sonic Advance 3, which was like 2004 or 5, and Adventure 1 was 99. Oh, well, or maybe it was in the GameCube port, which was 2000.
Maybe it was DX. So I mean, that's the version I played.
Well, that's why. Yeah. Okay.
Well, either way, like she's like flying like up on top, and I remember hearing like, oh, like if you jump and hit her while she's flying, then you will unlock her. You know.
How long did you try?
I tried it once, and then I'm all like, oh, it's probably not true. But
see, you tried.
But I tried it, yeah, because I was like curious, and I mean, because there was the whole thing like, oh, you could control Master Hand by doing it like by punching mute, but eventually did turn out you could control Master Hand, but it just required a more glitchy way that, you have to like pick two characters at the same time, press these buttons.
See, that's what was fun about those rumors is like they grew, they evolved. Like the fact that we know of 4 different ways to potentially get Mew or missing
in recent years, like within the last 5 years, that people discovered you could play as Master Hand properly.
Yeah, it's like the Yoshi.
And that's a GameCube game.
Yeah, it's like the Yoshi spelling the, your Yoshi's great partner. Like it's or the coin spelling that. It's like, like it takes time for some of these things, but that we don't, 10, 20 years from now, we don't have that luxury. Because we know everything already. Because it's data mined to hell and back. Like, it's dumb.
Yeah, and then you have, like, I mean, nothing against these channels, obviously, because...
No, I love Game Explained.
But, I mean, like, channels like Boundary Break. Like Boundary Break. Like, I like their content when I used to watch it. Just because of the whole, like, I don't like to dive into that kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But, like, they had a system where they would pull the camera literally wherever they wanted. And they had a system so that they could get rid of any, I guess, fictional clipping. So you could see the entire world, like, at once. And it just kind of takes like the magic away from anything. It's like, oh, you see those mountains over there? Nope, they're just a picture. Oh, you see that over there?
I mean, it is cool from a technical standpoint to get the stuff. And I remember Game Explained. I mentioned this last episode. I mean, there's
definitely like an audience for that.
Oh, yeah. In Game Explained last episode, I was saying how they did this cool video showing like if you pause Smash Bros. And look around, there's always little things on the edges of the stage that really build out the world. And it's like, would I have thought of doing that otherwise? Probably not. So it's cool to see that, but it's kind of like it sort of, stifles any potential weird stuff in the future that like when we had growing up. So I don't know, it's a weird. It's weird in a way.
I mean, the game's been out for, I guess, still less than a month.
Yeah, it's been less than a month,
and it feels like everything that needs to be found as far as like just. I guess anything that needs to be found within the game.
Even the DLC, that's the thing.
Yeah,
and I mean, I don't know. It's weird, but you did mention, or we both mentioned Sonic. This is kind of unrelated, but did you hear that, or I guess you didn't because you don't track these things. So the director of Sonic Adventure is interested in doing a remake of Sonic Adventure. Which, like an actual remake. He did a quote where it was like, it was our very first 3D game that we worked on. Looking at it now, I can see the rough edges it has, which really makes me want to remake it again.
Just now, I
realized Big the Cat was a mistake. It took me 20 years to realize. No, but like it... Yeah, I mean, would you be down for that? Like it.
I guess I would.
I can't help but wonder, like, when he remakes it, is he gonna stay true to it, or is he gonna try and like modernize it? And if he modernizes it, what does that mean?
Boost gameplay,
possibly,
because there was no boost gameplay.
That's true. Like, I almost rather they like bring back other Sega franchises. Like, I would totally be down for like a Super Monkey Ball reboot, like. That was a huge franchise for them for a while. Like, they could easily compile Monkey Ball 1 and 2 in a 2-pack on Switch, maybe up-res it, and just release it. Like, that franchise it just fell off a cliff. So it feels like this is a good time to bring it back, and it's portable for the first time, and yada yada. Or like Crazy Taxi. I always bring up, I want Crazy Taxi on Switch. We know Switch supports, or not Switch, but let me restart that sentence. That was very difficult for me. We know that the arcade game engine that Crazy Taxi runs on, called Naomi, is supported by Switch now, or now has Switch support, however you want to word that. So it's possible. So like, I mean, Sonic Adventure would be fine, whatever, but I'd almost rather Sega do those two first, personally. Or Skies of Arcadia. I mentioned that like an hour ago in the show.
Yeah, Skies of Arcadia would be cool.
Yeah. But yeah, it's that was just a side because we mentioned Sonic, but really we were talking about Smash Bros here. And that's what led us down this very, very long rabbit hole. And I know both of us wanted to double back to that for a moment. Do you want to go first? Okay, so what did you want to bring up with Smash? First of all, actually, not to interrupt you, but I can't believe we're now for 3 straight episodes still giving impressions of Smash Bros. Like, this game's huge.
Yeah, literally for a moment. The funny thing
Mine will be longer than a moment.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not even so much a complaint about Smash Bros. Specifically, but I guess for the Nintendo engineers. But, like, yeah, we got voice chat. It's pretty much about the voice chat functionality because it's so weird. Like, when you're in an arena, you get to talk to strangers, like, if they didn't mute the voice chat, because you can do that. But if they didn't, you get to talk to the strangers, and that's all well and good for the most part. Like, it's on your phone, you should have, like, headphones with a mic or something like that.
Yeah, if you buy into the whole, like, split audio shenanigans, then yeah, it worked. Like, it is well and good in that regard.
Yeah. So while you're waiting in the arena, and I'm talking about the place where there's like a little boxing ring and there's a line waiting, like you're talking to the strangers, whatever. That's all good. And then the match starts, and then for whatever reason, on your phone, which it's like its own little device. Everyone gets kicked out of the room, and then you hear like two really high pitched sounds, and then everyone slowly trickles back into the room. So if you were mid sentence, you're gonna have to repeat what you just said, and vice versa if someone else is talking. And then the match goes on. Everyone's like, okay, all right, did you catch what I said? All right, cool. All right, continue conversation, commenting on the match. The match ends. If someone was talking, as it transitioned back into the arena, they're going to get interrupted. You hear those high-pitched sounds, and then everyone's back into the chat.
What?
So, like,
what?
So why, like, I don't know. I feel like Splatoon didn't have that issue, because I remember playing Splatoon with my friends, and actually, I guess it did kick you out, because like, you're in the lobby, and then it kicks you out so that it could pair you with your team. That way, you're only talking to your teammates.
That makes sense because it's switching you.
Exactly. Like that one didn't mind. Like it was more like, all right, cool, the match is about to start. All right, anything else you want to say? Because I mean, you're collaborating. But this one doesn't make sense at all because everyone is still in the chat. It's not like it's separating out the people that are playing, because even the people that are playing can still talk. And I thought the whole point of it being its own device was so that it could, like work a little more independently. But I guess not. I guess
so let me just make sure I understand it.
It's still connected to the game somehow, which is really stupid.
Let me make sure I understand, because I have not played online voice chat Smash, only online no voice chat. I want to hear people tell me I suck at the game. I know. But so when it's doing the loading between to and from matches, basically, is when it does that? High-pitched noise?
Yep.
Why is that so weird? Because, if it's its own independent connection on a separate app, I don't know why changing the lobby, unless it has to resync who's in the lobby, but it knows because you were just in the lobby. That's weird.
It's really weird.
I mean, there's weird design decisions throughout this game. Let's be honest.
So to kind of supplement that, like some people like started like forming their own discords, and I mean, while that does limit, like obviously you're not gonna like every time you form a new lobby, you're not gonna tell everyone in the chat, all right, come join my Discord, let me friend you all, and then we could finally have like a nice conversation that doesn't get that it's uninterrupted.
Right, it should be.
But it does work if you have like a Discord with a bunch of people and they start their own arenas and you just join those arenas, and then you could just have a nice seamless conversation. But like Nintendo was supposed to. I mean, we're paying for this now. It
somehow has less features than the free Wii U version.
Yeah, if it was free, then whatever. Like we'll put up with it. But this is paid content now, and this is like literally the most basic of basic stuff. This is something I didn't even know you could mess up, and they somehow messed it up. Because this is like they literally created a problem. I've never had this issue on any game I've ever played.
Me neither.
Even like back when we were in college before the Switch was a thing, when I was using Steam to communicate with people, and we had like the push to talk stuff, and I mean that's because the chat was its own, like literally its own thing. Like it didn't care what game you're in. It's like the Switch suddenly cares, like, oh, you're playing Mario Kart? Okay, you can chat. Oh, you want to play freaking Ultimate Chicken Horse multiplayer? Oh, you can't talk with that one.
But here's what's weird about that is Skype, FaceTime, web, Discord, wherever you want, they're all using the exact same like connection. They all have the same concept. Like it's all. I'm agreeing with you. Right? It sounds like I'm not, but I am. Like they're all voice over IP. All the Switch app is voice over IP. So why put the artificial limitations?
Yeah, I think they should.
Strange.
I don't know.
I mean, I was starting to say a little bit ago, like this, Smash Bros. And Nintendo have a lot of weird design decisions. I mean, remember like a week ago, Nintendo had to tweet a tutorial of how to find the tutorial in Smash Bros. Like, they're not exactly the best at designing things sometimes. So, like, it really does suck, and it's actually kind of ridiculous. But it also doesn't surprise me. I'm like, yep, that's Nintendo. Like,
yeah, and I mean, and I'm pretty sure I brought this up, but it's like that's like probably just my biggest gripe.
Yeah,
which in the end didn't really have much to do with Smash Brothers, but
Smash was kind of the tipping point for it, though.
Yeah, like if I feel like I brought this up, but like I feel like at this point they have to just let you taunt in matches. Like they just
that actually bothers me more than I thought it would. In the world of emotes.
I mean,
Smash had them before everyone else. In the world of emotes, where are the taunts? What are they worried about?
It's like, why are they taking them out? Like, they are the ones that designed each of the taunts, so...
Yeah, it's not like you can, like, flip someone off,
Yeah, and it's not stopping people from, like, teabagging. It's not like, oh, it's detecting teabagging, so I'm gonna, like, penalize the player. I mean, debatably, I would say that's worse.
It is.
At least...
it's worse than Kirby waving hello.
Yeah, at least taunting is, like, somewhat controlled, and what's worse is that, like, you can't do it when you're playing in quick play, but when you're doing an arena, which is still against complete strangers, if you choose to join a stranger's lobby, you can taunt in those. So it's like, which is it? Like, do you want us to taunt with strangers? Do you
Is
not
it
want
a
us to taunt?
latency issue? Are they concerned if people taunt spam? It's just going to
Apparently
bog
not,
things
because
down?
no, that's the thing. They're letting you taunt when you're in an arena where you have like 6 people spectating a match, where you'd think you'd want to get rid of any possible latency issue.
Wait. The arena, like when you're actually battling and people are watching, you can taunt?
Yeah,
I thought you just meant on the boxing ring area.
No.
Which I was like, how? You don't even have your character.
No,
there.
that's right.
Okay, that makes sense.
You can taunt in arena matches where people are watching, where there's debatably more latency, but you can't taunt in 1v1s or 2v2s or 4v4s.
So it is Nintendo babysitting people.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense because
No.
you're in both cases you're playing with strangers. Like, are they saying that? Oh, you're. I don't know. I guess I don't know. It's
Weird. Well, here's another question for you. Actually, what are your thoughts on the news that Mii Fighter costumes are coming to Ultimate and will be DLC that you buy individually at 75 cents a pop, and there's nothing included with the Fighter's Pass, and there's no separate costume pass. You just buy individual Mii Fighter costumes for 75 cents, which is a little less than the price of M&Ms.
That's fine, because back when they were included, or they were like, because back then they were only sold in packs. And there were a lot of them that like I didn't care about. Like, I just want the King K. Rool one, or I just want the Monster Hunter one, or I just want,
you like a la carte,
or I just want the Lloyd one, but I have to buy all these other ones that I don't care about. I have to buy the Secret Agents with the briefcase or whatever.
Yeah,
but
so you're cool with a la carte.
Yeah,
because I've always wondered like how many people even buy these.
I mean, if it's like, I like the ones that like pretty much make your character all but that character.
Right.
Like I love the Lloyd one because it really makes you feel like Lloyd. A lot of the sword fighter moves almost feel like they were pulled straight from Tales of Symphonia, except they just changed the names. Like Sword Rain is right in there, Sword Pierce is right in there. I forgot what the other one was called, Tiger Strike, but
it's basically like having a new character.
Yeah, it was like literally you're playing as Lloyd, but you have a Mii face. So I was like,
right.
And then I think the one.
But couldn't you make a Mii that looks like Lloyd? And
yeah,
his face?
but it's still like a Mii-ified Lloyd.
Oh yeah, a chibi Lloyd.
Yeah, I mean you can't get rid of that, but I mean I was fine with that. But I do like the ones like the Monster Hunter where it just kind of looks like a chibi-bodied Monster Hunter, but I mean
the face is blocked.
Yeah, but the face is blocked. I love it when the face is blocked. I hate it when they give us like, all right, here is the bunny from the what's that called? The app where you get the pins.
Badge
Arcade.
Badge Arcade.
Well, yeah, from the Badge Arcade.
Is it called Badge Arcade?
No, it's not. It's something else. It's something arcade, but something
I'm
Badge Arcade. Well, anyway, like he is coming out as a amiibo hat, but he's like a hoodie, so you still see the bunny's face on top, and then your face comes out through the bottom. So I don't know. I wish they would just like.
Yeah.
Why can't we just be theme park mascots? Just give us the full like bunny head, so we don't have to see the Mii face.
By the way, the game's name is Nintendo Badge Arcade.
Oh,
duh.
We're close.
Duh is part of the name, just so we're clear. It's Nintendo Badge Arcade, duh, period.
But yeah,
no, I get what you mean. Yeah, it's.
Like,
I feel like I
pretty much I hate the ones that have the face sticking out.
To be honest, I think part of the reason the faces stick out
like
is
Chibi Robo. It's like, why just give us a giant Chibi Robo head? Why does Chibi Robo have to be another head?
I honestly think part of the reason, and I didn't really think about this till I saw a comment on the Polygon article about this announcement, is that someone's like, yeah, my kid loves to play as their Mii and dress up. I'm like, oh, well, if you're viewing it not as you're playing as those characters, but you're dressing up your Mii, I kind of get it. Like, if it's like, oh, this is the digital version of me, and I'm dressing as my favorite character, opposed to I'm trying to be the equivalent of that character.
But if I'm trying to dress up as my favorite character,
I know you're not,
I would still, want like a full head mask.
Oh, well, maybe little kids like to be like, look, but I'm still me. Like, how often during Halloween do like elementary school kids show up in complete head to toe like outfits? Like,
I mean, if the costume calls for it, they do.
Oh, they do. Okay,
I mean,
so then
they'll use like full face paint and stuff like that. I mean,
well, that's the answer.
It's not like they attach a whole separate head on top of their head. They never do that.
Man, I did my Halloween costumes all wrong as a kid. No, I didn't do that either. But
yeah, I don't know.
It's
I hate it.
Well, okay, let's end the Smash stuff on a positive note because you had all that you didn't like. But, dude, I am loving the Spirit Board mode. Dude, bro. No, but seriously, like, when I was first playing Smash, or when we talked about it in our last episode, or whatever, I never really, like, touched Spirit Board at all. I was mostly doing World of Light or just straight online play with no voice chat. But, man, like, Spirit Board is my new favorite thing. I think it's one of the most... This is going to be bold. Honestly, I feel like it's one of the most addicting modes I've played in a game in a while. Like, it's so for those who haven't tried it yet, which I imagine if you're listening you maybe have, but basically you're presented with a grid of different spirits you can earn. You select a spirit, you do the special themed battle around it, you win, and you can add to your collection. The catch is that the spirits rotate out about every 5 minutes, all at separate times. So you'll do a battle, go back to the board, see a spirit that's about to vanish, do that battle, go back to the board. There's another one that's about to run out of time, vanish, so then you do that one, and you just kind of are in this loop forever. And I think it's partially that sense of urgency that keeps me so hooked. Like World of Light, that presents basically the same like structure, right down to needing to equip spirits to win different battle conditions, but it's slower. It's padded by the world map. You have fewer options at any one time. With the spirit board, I'll go in and see which spirits are available, decide to get, let's say, Drake Redcrest from Chibi Robo out of, perhaps 10 different choices. And then when I go back to the spirit board, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll leave. And then I'm like, oh no, I only have 40 seconds to get Smeargle of hit Pokemon video game Gold and Silver version. I better jump on that. So I jump on that and then I get it. And then I go back and it's someone else all of a sudden. And it's admittedly a very gimmicky way to keep people engaged. Like it really kind of feels like a cheap mobile game ploy just without the in-game purchase angle. But it works. That's the thing. It works. And I think part of what makes it work is that almost reminds me of collecting Pokemon cards. You've got these different ranks of spirit that range from novice to legendary. Admittedly, they aren't the same as rarity in Pokemon cards. These ranks are strictly like battle difficulty opposed to frequency that you'll see the spirit come back. But when like a legendary one comes along and you get it, it kind of has that similar thrill of like, at least from a collecting perspective, of when you get that super cool holographic Charizard or whatever. Like, you do see more novice cards than you see legendary ones. And there is kind of that feeling that, oh, you really achieved something by getting the special one. And like with Pokemon cards, they also have special edition spirits on the board for limited times. So, like with Pokemon, I remember when Pokemon the movie 2000 came out, it's like, oh, do you want the Ancient Mew card? Well, you have to go see the movie and we'll give it to you there. And this, it's like, there are these ones that pop up and go away during special events. We talked about it last episode, but Nintendo's been doing these weekly Spirit Board events around different themes. Characters with glasses, Fire Emblem. This week it's all 80s Nintendo games. But last week was interesting because last week they did Super Mario Party. And it included 3 spirits, a dice block, the river rafting minigame art, and a golden mushroom. And they were only available during the event. They were exclusive to the event. So I found myself unintentionally like planning around when each one would be available. Like I stayed up till 2 a.m. just to get the river rafting one because I knew at 2 p.m. the next day I wouldn't be home. Or I was here. I was playing Smash with you and Elvis. And the golden mushroom, like that time for it popped up and I backed out of our multiplayer, burrowed into my own Switch, got that, and then just kept going through spirits. And it took a while for me to be like, oh wait, I have real people I could be playing with. Let me step back and go do multiplayer again. And I think it was that sense of urgency and collectability that really just, it's like this, like I said, it's like this endless feedback loop where just like, oh yeah, and you just keep going. I mean, it's not to say the mode's perfect. It's not. One thing I think they could have easily done away with spirits in general really is the need to like shoot to capture after you won a battle. Like you earned the spirit already. Why do you need to earn it a second lesser way after already fighting for it? It's weird. And there has been 1 or 2 instances where it was like the really fast spin and I didn't get the spirit. I'm like, but I fought I did so well. Why? But I also still think there's not enough context.
That last part feels very tacked on.
It feels very unnecessary. Yeah. But I also think there's not enough context around each spirit. Like Spirit Board, unlike World of Light, does give you the name of the series the character is from. But unlike with like recent Smash games trophy collections, Brawl, Wii, what have you, one cool thing it does, unlike those games, is it pulls from way more history from Nintendo. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff from like the deep annals of like Nintendo's Japan only releases. I mean, I think there's 1,300 different spirits, so they kind of have to do that, and that's cool. But the downside is just getting the name of some of these obscure Japanese releases doesn't really help much. Like, it's great that they actually put the series on the Spirit Board, unlike in World of Light, but it sucks that they don't tell you anything about it. Like, I would love to get a short blurb about what I'm looking at. What game was this from? What is this guy? What does he do? Is he the hero, the villain, a side character? I don't know sometimes. So if they added those blurbs, that would have gone a long way. But, those things aside, ignoring the tacked on thing, ignoring the lack of information, I'm really, really loving Spirit Board mode. And the fact that the spirits you collect can be used across World of Light, they can still be leveled up through equipping them or doing the automated RPG stuff like sending them away for battle. It makes it feel like this whole single-player experience in Smash and Ultimate is probably the most well-rounded single-player experience I've seen in a Smash game. Like Subspace Emissary did its thing in Brawl, and there was the weird board game thing in the 3DS one. But this feels like the most.
You mean the Wii U one?
I mean the Wii U one, yeah.
Smash Tour?
Yeah, Smash Tour. But this,
at least they took the best part of that and
just kind of ran with it. But then the whole spirit thing on top of it just makes it feel like the most like hearty, fulfilling. Like it really feels like it's a fully thought out system versus just a mode thrown in there. So props to that. But yeah, I mean, do you do much with spirit boards?
Sometimes.
I just really like it. I don't know.
It's part of my rotation. Like I'll go to the shop.
Part of your rotation, much like the spirits themselves. Am I right?
See if there's any new songs. Then maybe I'll look at the spirit board, see if there's any characters I recognize, and
I do like, actually, now I think about it, like the thing with trophies, because you were saying about going to the shop. Like I remember with trophies, it's like, oh yeah, you can get all these cool trophies, and you can look at them in 3D, and they have the background information on characters, but you get them by spinning a capsule toy or machine or whatever, like some low key thing. These feel way more earned, even though the spirits themselves are less impressive because they're just old stock art versus stock character art versus 3D renders. Like you do feel like you earned them, which makes them, and the way they're presented as actual cards, to go back to the Pokemon card analogy, is actually kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, that's all I got about spirits. I guess I think we're finally out of things to say for Smash. We've done 3 episodes of Smash.
Did you get any of the spirits from this current rotation? What's the?
Well, not yet, because they're not actually. You're talking about
the Donkey Kong one.
So here's what's done about it. First, Nintendo keeps calling it the Classics event. No, Nintendo, it's called Now You're Playing with Spirit Power, which is a much better name, and you should just embrace it. Like, that's what they're calling it in Japan. I don't know why they're in their Twitter at least calling it the Classics event. But no, I have not done it yet, funny enough, because, well, 1, I was working on this, but 2, this being the podcast, but 2, none of them are actually exclusive. They're rare, they're more frequently appearing, but none are exclusive to the event. So yeah, I would like to, when I have a chance, do it and get some that will be harder to get down the line, but it's not quite as, like, I need to do it or else, as the Mario Party one was a week ago. But once I'm in there, as soon as I go to the spirit board, I won't leave for like an hour straight. Like I get sucked in, or like 2 hours straight. I get like totally sucked in. But yeah, there is one other multiplayer game we've been playing. Unless you have any other thoughts on Smash.
No.
So when we were playing Smash Bros. This holiday, one thing with a lot of people that we kept doing, and we've been doing it for months now, we just never really got a chance to talk about it, is the latest Jackbox Party Pack, Jackbox Party Pack 5, which normally, just saying this up front, normally it costs $30, but right now on the eShop it's on sale for only $21. I don't know how long that will last, but as of this recording, it is on sale. So if you like what you hear about the game when Angel and I talk about it, mostly him, it's his game. Go download it.
But we played it together.
Yeah, we did play it together. So I mean, you own it? Why don't you lead us off here?
Jackbox Party Pack 5 is made up of a few games.
Book report style, okay. It does have, like 5 games?
Yeah, I mean, just like all the other...
And we've done
just like
4.
I think we've done 4. Yeah, like the other party packs, they're all... I mean, the ones we've played, we've done 4, actually, yeah. Like, the ones we've played so far are really fun and different. Like
they're very different from other Jackboxes, actually.
Yeah, in general. Like, the tone... I mean, like, even the You Don't Know Jack is way more streamlined, especially compared to the first one. They do have this character that they really seem to love.
Jack?
No, this other one.
Oh.
He talks for a while. Let's put it that way. But
Jack.
It's some guy that...
Is he bald?
I think the name of the host is Cookie Maestron or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the guy that talks most of the time.
I haven't done the You Don't Know Jack mode yet, so...
But it's really fun. Like, I mean, the trivia questions are really clever, and the presentation is pretty slick and quick. It kind of combines everything it did from all the Jackbox. I mean, from all other You Don't Know Jacks, which... One of the biggest ones was introducing the screw mechanic, which if you're falling behind... Well, before, everyone started with a screw. And the screw, pretty much you pick a person to screw over, and they have to answer the question in less than 5 seconds. And if they get it wrong, they lose even more points. But if they get it right, the person that tried to screw you over ends up losing points. This time around, they changed it into... kind of like a blue shell mechanic, but not quite as bad. I guess it depends. Like on the first round, if you're falling behind at the end of the round 1, you'll get the screw and you can use it to cause random things to happen to your opponent's board because it affects everyone else. And like for example, it'll either make the options bounce around your screen, so you'll have to try to tap the right one and not accidentally tap an incorrect one, or it might make them really small. And if you get the screw in the second round because you were falling behind, then you'll have to, well, there's a bunch of different ones, but one that I got was that you had to input a long password that they gave you, but you have to put it in before you answer the question. And I didn't have enough time to type it in and answer the question.
Yeah, that sounds like it could be kind of tricky, actually.
But you know, Jack, it's pretty fun. I really like that one as far as like trivia games go because it's pretty different.
I mean, it's like the OG of Jackbox, really.
It just has the presentation is just like 90% of it because most trivia games are just here's the question. This one, like everything flows so smoothly between questions that it almost feels like you're watching an entire pre-recorded trivia segment.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, you know, there's more than just those questions. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty. It's interesting going back to it because you'll see brand new quote unquote segments that you didn't before.
Right.
Like there's one that they call like Queen of England, Octopus, Peanut, or I forgot or Robot, or Frankenstein. And every single answer is the answer is either Octopus, Peanut, the Queen of England, or Frankenstein. But they have like this whole animated sequence that goes with it. It's like, wow, how many questions did they come up with that
fit this specific category?
That could potentially be those. Like one of them was like, what was discovered in the 1920s? And apparently,
Queen of England.
Yeah, it was the Queen of England. But
wait, it was?
Yeah, it was.
What do you mean it was discovered?
Well, you know, like which one, like, was discovered at that point. I mean, she was born in that.
Oh, okay, yeah, that works.
Yeah, she was born in that time because I mean, peanuts were older, octopuses were discovered before that. I
answered right, not even understanding what they meant. Go me.
Yeah, but that's that one. The other one that is also like a crowd pleaser, I would say, is the rapping robots.
Madverse City.
Yeah,
I love Madverse City.
Yeah, so that one is also pretty different from past Jackboxes because this is probably the one you write the most in.
Oh yeah, you're doing full sentences.
Like first, you have to come up with a word with some like Mad Lib style. Like they'll tell you give us a verb or give us something that goes with this. Sometimes it works most of the time. Sometimes grammatically it ends up not really working.
Right.
Even though you try, but then after that, you get to come up with your own sentence after that. That
for
just
the
has
second
to,
line of
that
the
just
verse.
has to rhyme. But they'll give you the first line, and then you have to just come up with the second verse.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you have a good group of friends to play with, like it's really really funny.
Also, just aesthetically, it's one of the cooler Jackbox things. Like it's these giant robots. They're kind of like riffs on Transformers, but instead of cars, all these weird 80s things like a calculator, or in 90s things like a calculator,
or
a cell phone.
Tiger Electronic.
I guess it's all 90s, not 80s. But yeah, and it's just like and they really lean in on the robots are rapping to the point that they actually say what you write in robot voices. It's an excuse for them to use voice technology to read what you wrote. That's robotic, basically.
Yeah, and then there's another one called Split the Room, which isn't as funny, but I feel like it's still like just as good of a game, like design wise, just because you really have to. This one is more about just like how well do you know the room, because the whole object of the game is they'll start you off with a scenario, and you have to complete the scenario. So that, like for example, you get $1 billion, but you're gonna inherit $1 billion, but your father-in-law or whatever has a condition that you for it, and the condition is you have to give up your first blank, or you have to give up blank.
Your first child or blank.
Oh no,
right?
no, not first. It's just your first blank. You
right.
write in whatever you want. Someone wrote in your first child.
Yeah.
So you have to write something in there that will be as polarizing as possible, and not like controversial, just like something that will make people go like, I'll go with like, will you do it? Like, will I give up blank or will I not give up blank?
Which threw me in a loop because it's almost the opposite of the other Jackboxes where you're supposed to be as outlandish as possible. This one's like, actually, no, you are better off doing something that's safer but more like divisive. You know what I mean?
Thought-provoking.
Yeah, like thought-provoking, which definitely is a different vibe than the other Jackbox games.
I still really liked it. I mean,
it's cool. Yeah,
it won't. It just cause a lot of laughs, but it is a well-designed game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other one, what was the other one?
Patently Stupid.
Oh yeah, Patently Stupid. That one's pretty interesting because everyone like takes turns like pretty much coming up with their own inventions. And
first it's like multi-step because first you do a Mad Lib for market research, which is like there's a problem and you are creating the problem by filling in a blank for what the problem is. So it's like, someone can't do blank, and then you put a word and you don't know that's a sentence, but you put the word like read. This is a bad example. So then the next person gets that phrase if someone can't do reading or whatever, and then it's up to you to come up with an invention that fixes that. Yeah. And what's weird about it is there's then a third phase. It actually requires
you have to draw it.
And you draw the invention, and then there's a third phase where there's like outside engagement, where like you're not just doing what's in the game. It's now like, okay, now pitch the game, pitch the concept, pitch your invention as a keynote, like an Apple style keynote, to the other players. And this is, I think, the first time that there's a physical IRL, real world thing you have to do for Jackbox. And you pitch it, and then people vote on their favorite, right?
Yeah.
What's interesting is, like, you kind of need, because it's more real world, you do, like, when I noticed when I played it, it's immediately popped in my head, you need people to be super on board with the idea. Like, it's kind of like charades. If someone doesn't really want to do charades or doesn't want to actually act it out, you're not going to have as much fun as if you're totally all in and going full, like, yeah, I'm Steve Jobs type of thing. So that to me was interesting because Jackbox went beyond digital really for the first time with this mode.
Yep.
So not to hijack what you were saying.
Oh, no,
I just thought that was a really interesting thing that they're like really the whole compilation. There's another game which neither of us have played, right?
Yeah, but this one is definitely of like a first for Jackbox because it's like a real time.
It's called Zeeple Dome.
Yeah, it's like a real time action game where like everyone's like pretty much launching balls at each other.
You're flinging. It's like you're slingshotting characters or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but normally like Jackbox are all about like words and drawings
and jokes,
but stuff you could do at your own pace. Well, I mean within a time limit. Yeah. But this one is like a real time like multiplayer game that you control from your phones, which just like requires more testing. So we'll get back to you guys on that one.
Yeah, but that one does that. Patently Stupid, Split the Room, like those three in particular really, like, it's interesting. They embody an interesting new angle Jackbox is taking, which is they're expanding into new types of games. I mean, they had to. They have 5 of these. There's only so many variations of, like, write words on your phone, then beam it to the TV that you can come up with as a developer. But it is interesting that, like, we're getting different genres. We're getting more physicality. We're getting not funny things as much. Like, they're really branching out. So I'm curious, like, what will Jackbox Party Pack 6 have? Because they're still going to keep pumping these out. They sell great. So, like, are we going to see it go, like, full, like, Pictionary? Like, what's going to happen? It's an interesting, like, we're at, like, not the turning point, but, like, we're at a tipping point, I guess, of where this could get real interesting or kind of lose its core charm. Like, it's hard to say. Like, these are great, but I'm curious where they go from here.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely.
Yeah. But it's a good compilation. And like I said, it's $9 off right now. So, if you need something to play with all your family that already left because the holidays are over, well, we've got the game for you. But, yeah, I think that just about does it for this episode, unless there's anything else you want to say about Jack.
That you don't know Jack.
I don't actually know a single person named Jack. True story.
Really?
Really.
Huh.
And I'll talk about it more on our next episode. No, but our next episode is coming up on January 20th. Well, of course, I'll have all this news and whatever we've been playing. I actually just started playing Horizon Chase Turbo on Switch, and I like it so far. So at bare minimum, you can expect impressions of that. But at potential maximum, you may also get, is that a thing? Bare minimum and potential maximum. But you may also get to hear our thoughts on a new Nintendo Direct, because mid to late January, that's when the episode goes up. That's when Nintendo traditionally does the first Direct of the year. Who knows? Who knows what will happen? Maybe they'll already prove and or disprove a lot of our predictions and theories from this episode. Maybe it will be called Hotel Luigi. Who knows? We'll all find out together. It'll be a grand old time. So to make sure you don't miss it, you can subscribe to us on all the podcasting apps. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, etc., wherever you use, you can probably find us there. You can follow us on Twitter at Ram Nintendo. You never know when we might do more giveaways. And with that, yeah, I just, do you have any thoughts? Final thoughts?
I guess not.
All right, well, I'll just leave it at this. Go out and live your best life in the new year, guys. Yeah, that's an upbeat ending.